Panago Pizza presents SDP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wilde.
All right, well, Jesse just spoiled the surprise.
What a surprise.
I was going to tell you that Nazem Kadri gifted Matt Duchesne with a perfect setup to, is it Zingles? Martin's Jingle?
Gifted?
He gifted a terrible giveaway, and Ottawa scored in the first 21 seconds.
Oh, good.
But
Good.
to the rescue.
But I mean, he's only our third line center.
That's right. Our second line center, who tonight is our first line center, Mr. John Tavares, scores his first goal in a Maple Leafs uniform.
Unreal.
In a ceremonial game that means absolutely nothing. But hey.
I mean, whatever.
Hey, we should probably mention that we have a guest in the room. The one and only. Jeremy Rupke from HowToHockey.com. Now, if you've never checked out this website, it's awesome because basically he teaches normal people, us normies, how to play. Not
Bums,
like
plugs, benders.
It's not like
me.
Barb Underhill or whatever who can can really get into the minutia of what makes a professional athlete skate better. You're actually just going to make normal people skate and play better.
That's the plan. There's a lot of coaches they want to attach themselves to a pro player and then only work with like the best of the best. Yeah. I want the opposite direction. I want to help people get to good as quickly as possible. Once they get from like bad to good, then there's a lot of other really good coaches and they can take it from there. But I want to get them there
and a lot of fun.
Yeah,
so that's where like the thing is that like hockey is a little like snowboarding in the sense that the first year you're going to fall a lot and you're going to get a lot of bruises and there's going to be days where you're a little bit frustrated with it when you're actually physically playing it. But as soon as you get that rhythm towards probably around March or whatever, and you're like in a league, it's like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. This is going to be fun. Should I sign up for a summer league? Should I wait till next year? I'm ready to go. And everybody talks about like their second season in hockey. My first season in hockey sucked. Second season is when it was like, yes, this was the best.
I think with kids, it's a lot easier for them to improve, and you can get them on the ice. I coached Timbits for a few years. Kids are 3, 4, 5 years old. They can't even stand. Right? You get them out there. Half of them are on the ice and crying. Maybe like Steve's first time.
Pretty close. Pretty close. So, I fell down the other day, and an old lady asked me if I was okay. Hurt my feelings.
Yeah. So that's like the first time they're out on the ice, and halfway through the season, they're on the ice once or twice a week, and they can stop and skate and turn, and they improve really quickly because they're not really afraid of falling. But when you're older, I think you have that fear, and it's a big mental barrier. Yeah. Number one, you're probably more aware of people watching, and you don't want to look silly. Yeah. Right. So that's going to hold you back from trying. But the kids, they don't get it. They're just going to go at it.
Also, they don't fall as far to the ground.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
So the potential for injury is a little different.
My tumbles are decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, seriously. So Adam and another friend of mine were my honorary hockey dads when I decided, all right, I'm going to actually try to learn skating. Another buddy came the next day, and then I went to a few skating, just public skates on my own, and I found, okay, I've kind of stopped learning. I'm getting a little better from repetition. So naturally, I just went to YouTube. You popped right up.
That was me.
Yeah, I didn't search you up or anything. It was just like how to skate, skating basics or whatever it was, and there you were.
I think if you put how to and basically anything hockey related in front of it, you're gonna find an article or a video from me.
It's a pretty good name for a channel, man.
Yeah.
How many subscribers are you at now?
YouTube, I think I'm 170,000, maybe 180,000 around there.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, and then
I'm so jealous. That's unbelievable, man.
Well, yeah, it's. I mean, I've been doing it for a long time. 2009, I think, is when I first started. And,
I've been doing it since 2007.
but you're mostly Leafs, right? I mean, I guess the Leafs is the biggest fan base.
Yeah. But your videos, man, the video I was watching the other day was like basics of a crossover or whatever. It's 400,000 views. That's crazy, man.
It is wild. And I think that's part of a video from you from 3 years ago about a reaction to a game. I don't think it doesn't have much longevity.
Yeah, it's pretty news based.
Yeah, you're like McDonald's, man.
Yeah,
delicious at the time, but you don't want to eat it a week later.
Thanks, Adam. Whatever. Yeah, and my Phil Kessel video is just it's got all the preservatives. So it's lasted a long time.
That's right.
Some ladies got it in a glass jar to prove a point.
I want to, before we actually dive into the show, I have to play this clip because, and we all need to hear it. We all need to hear it because there is an NHL game going on tonight that is not an NHL game.
Yeah, sort of
game. And David Amber and Elliot Friedman had the chance to sit down with Pierre Dorion before the game. Pierre's had a rough summer. But if you ask Pierre, He's telling you he's excited.
He said a great song.
He's pretty excited about, the Senators without Eric Karlsson.
He's excited. Mark's excited. The fans are excited.
They're all excited.
Players are excited.
That's right. So do you want to hear? It's an 8-second clip.
That's it?
It's an 8-second clip, and this is all you need to know about the Senator season right here.
One thing you're optimistic about in terms of the Ottawa Senators.
Oh.
Team?
You just walked all over it there, Steve.
Oh,
One more
jeez,
time.
I'm sorry. I thought it was just silence.
I thought it was too.
Yeah, sorry. It's not the loudest clip, but don't worry, we'll up it in post-prod.
Okay.
One thing you're optimistic about in terms of the Ottawa Senators. We're a team.
And the
bless
3-second pause that he took to come up with that. You didn't think they were going to ask you. Come on, man.
Does he keep going? That's my only thing. Do they clip it at "we're a team" and then he goes on?
Right. Yeah.
We're a team.
Right.
Who's got a chance?
Yeah.
We're a
Does he
team.
say?
Who's going to surprise people?
Yeah.
But boy,
I assume he continues.
me too. Can you imagine if he stopped there?
Jesse, stop trying to be fair to this organization, all right? They're bringing this on themselves.
If he stopped there, Dave Amber would just drop the mic and get up and hug him. I think, and just be like, "I'm so sorry, Pierre. Let me rescue you. Let me take you away from all this."
There's a pile of like tweets that are like reaction tweets, and they have Elliot Friedman's face before he answered that and after he answered that. His eyes are closed, and then they're like,
Oh, gee.
it's bad. Really bad. So, anyway, I got to ask, Jeremy, first off, Leafs fan?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Since I was born.
So,
That's awesome.
I want to know,
He came from a far way away to be here
where'd
today.
you come from?
I'm in Barrie now, or close to Barrie.
Okay, where specifically?
Oro.
Oh, okay. I used to work in Barrie on the air. You wouldn't have heard me. It was terrible. But
Rock
I know
95 was all I listened to.
Oh,
so
of course. Yeah. Well, I was at B101 when it existed.
Oh, right, yeah,
Now
I
it's
remember.
Rock 101 or something because they're trying to steal Rock 95's audience. Anyway.
Once you left, they were like, "We got to
Oh,
reformat."
yeah, right. 10
Yeah.
years ago. But I'm curious to know what you were doing when you found out that Tavares had become a Maple Leaf.
Oh,
I mean, let's get to what's important here. We'll talk about your site in a second, but
Yeah.
where were you when the world literally shifted on its axis?
What has your site done to honor John Tavares?
Yeah, right?
well,
Answer that.
I try not to get too much into the NHL because there's so many people covering the NHL. I actually can't remember the exact location, but I do remember that I was as time drew on, it just became more and more clear to me. I was like, he's going to be a Maple Leaf. It's almost like I already knew it. So when it was announced, I was like, yes, I knew it. But yeah, I was really excited. And I do remember just going through and looking at all the media and just kind of like gloating on the inside. And the best thing I saw, I think, was on Reddit our hockey. And
That's, by the way, a very dangerous place.
Yeah.
You got to be very careful
I
on that.
think
Right.
it was like some announcement about John Tavares and Maple Leaf, and then the number one comment is something, "Oh, you Leafs fans are going to be insufferable, aren't you?" And then every response is like, "Yep,
Absolutely.
Were we not already?
Well, that's exactly it, right?
This is maybe a childish question, but when a guy who actually knows how to do hockey things like you
Yeah.
looks at John Tavares, highlights and just looks at his game, what does he do way better than most of the rest of the league?
Right. So there's a good quote that elite athletes do the simple things better than anyone else.
Okay.
And so I'd say that's a big part. I've seen him on the ice, middle of July, middle of August, and he's working. It's like a beautiful summer day. You could be at the beach. You could be enjoying the weather. And he's at the rink, and he's working for like 45 minutes. He's doing the exact same thing with Darryl Belfry.
Yeah, skills coach.
Yes.
Is that up where you are too?
That was in Vaughan.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, 45 minutes. He's basically walking into the corner. He's got an iPad, and Belfry has the iPad on the stand, and then they go and look at it, and they go back. And to me, it looks like very similar every single time. But they're breaking it. He's getting so detailed into his movements and exactly what he's doing. Like if pressure is put here, or if the guy is here or there. It's such specific things. So pretty much he goes hard. He's a workhorse, and he goes after the specifics.
That's really interesting.
Adam and I had a bit of an argument the other day because now that I've tried to skate for like 2 or 3 weeks, I think I'm an expert. But one thing that we kind of ranted about a couple years ago or 3 years ago was Phil Kessel had this quote about like, oh yeah, I think I was on the ice 10 times this summer or whatever.
Yeah,
and we were like, what's the big deal? The media is so stupid. And seeing what like Austin Matthews can do in his dedication and Tavares in his dedication, I am immediately, I rescind that. It's stupid that he was only on the ice 10 times. I know he's Phil Kessel. I know he's great. He could be better.
But
you know what I mean?
Is he playing with people? Like, do you think he's
is he messing with?
Yeah.
Oh, he's
He could
gotta
be.
be.
Yeah.
There's no way he was only on the ice 10 times.
But even if he was, like, honestly,
there's no way. I
Yeah.
think he's lying.
I see how he sort of presents himself to me. Like, he obviously doesn't care about, like, he's not really a fan of being interviewed sort of thing, right? And I almost think that he's just
Same old shit. You see
Is
that
that
quote?
recent interview?
I went fishing, yeah, same old. Yeah.
Hilarious.
You can swear, it's okay.
Oh, I keep my stuff PG on YouTube. You know?
Oh, okay. Fair enough. You got a brand to protect.
For the kids.
That's right. For the kids.
You also keep your stuff PG, so.
Yeah, on my channel, yeah.
This is the adult channel.
But I just would love to see, like, in behind closed doors, he's actually just like giving her and like working and like dripping sweat, and then everything he posts is like hot dogs in the Stanley Cup and stuff.
Well, that's what his teammates say. That he's a beast.
Yeah, he's a professional athlete. I think
Yeah.
it'd be dumb of us to assume that he doesn't work hard.
But we all did. We all did, collectively as a city.
You see him like the first game of the season, he's flying out there, and he doesn't have the most athletic looking form, but he moves, right? So he has to be doing something.
What do you think, because you're a guy that knows enough about skating that you would look at someone's stride and go, okay, I can see what they're doing there, what they're not. What is it with his stride that gives him that explosiveness? Because if there's one thing about Phil, it's that 1-2 step shot thing that he does that no one else can do like that. Maybe Ovechkin. But that's really truly special. And when he comes flying in off the wing too, it's pretty amazing.
I think part of it is genetics. There's there's fast twitch muscles and there's slow twitch muscles, and he's probably just loaded up with that fast twitch. And if he's got a couple extra pounds, it doesn't matter because those legs are just going, right? So there's a lot that comes down to your stride. Some people have different bodies than others, and some people are going to have a long, powerful stride, and that's what's giving them speed. And other people are having a shorter, choppier stride, and that's what's giving them their speed. So it really depends, and he's just found a way to maximize what he was given, basically.
And
There's a Joe Rogan quote where he was talking about all people are created equal. Not at all true.
No.
Stop saying it. You cannot. I don't care how long you train. You're not going to get in the ring with Anderson Silva and come out with a different result. Like in his prime, he's shaped different. He can do things that you can't do.
and that's okay. We have to accept that.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
There's things that I haven't heard an Anderson Silva podcast yet. I'm sure it could be compelling. Maybe not though.
He could do like a 5-hour podcast just on asses he's kicked.
He probably could. Yeah,
probably.
absolutely. He could call it "Asses I've Kicked." by
That'd be a
Anderson
great
Silva.
name for a podcast.
I think so too. So, Jeremy, I'm interested because like your show,
he interviews people who he fought and beat, and that's his whole show.
How do you think I beat you?
Sorry, I think he would be able to get Forrest Griffin to agree to that, and that's it. Sorry, UFC
Jeremy,
talk.
How did your channel start?
Started with basically I was looking online for resources for coaching, and I couldn't find one solid resource where like it's all you need.
Like there's a Slapshot video you reference, right?
You're right. Yeah. So we were talking before the mics started rolling. I was going to say cameras, but I forgot that I'm not.
there's
on YouTube.
cameras too.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'll see you. Hey, YouTube. So I was looking for articles. There wasn't one central resource, so I started a website, and then I was like, I need some videos to like link because you can't teach somebody how to do something physical. It's really hard to explain and get that point across. So I'm looking, and I'm seeing some videos, and it's pretty much anything that was teaching hockey. It had between like 20 to like 50,000 views, but some of the videos were just really bad. Like one specifically, there was a guy, and I think he was like in jeans and like some XXXL Ducks jersey that was like 20 years old, and he's just like in a tennis court, and he's like, well, taking a slap shot, it's a lot like swinging a baseball bat. right? And I was like,
So he's not on the ice.
he wasn't on the ice. No, he's in a tennis court. He's in a tennis court. And I'm looking, I said, who is this guy? And it was from like Expert Village. And I was like,
What
okay,
is that?
I think it was like some kind of like aggregate. I don't know.
An aggregate site? Yeah.
Aggregate site where, or like where it's like, we'll pay you $250 if you can make 5 videos on a topic you're an expert in. Right?
Oh,
And they try and cover like every topic you could ever
Everything.
think of. Like how to cook this. How
so
to
it's like
do
an
that.
encyclopedia of videos.
Yeah, have you heard of like WikiHow?
Yeah.
It's the same concept.
Oh,
It's
WikiHow
terrible.
answers are the best.
Exactly. So it's like they would pretty much, I think, take anything and here's your money and we're putting it here and now, it's on our site. So I think, I was looking through some of these videos and some were good. There were good videos out there, but they weren't, it's like you had to really look for them.
Yeah,
Right? And there were 30,000 people watching this video. I was like, oh, it's like taking a slap, or it's like swinging a baseball bat. I'm like, yeah, taking a slap shot is not like swinging a baseball bat.
Not
so
at all.
I'm like, I can't embed this video in the article on how to take a slap shot because it's not the same. So I figured I have to make some videos. So that's how I got started. I think that's back in 2009. And
Do you remember your first video?
I remember my first video, but it's not online.
It's not online.
No.
Did you take it off?
It never went online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So your first video, and then your first video that actually was good enough to make it online.
Yeah. So
Well, wait, why didn't the first one go up?
I had an idea. Like I was
Okay.
like, if I make videos, they have to be good. So I'm like,
See, I just throw up all my shit.
Yeah. That's what I-
well, I mean, if you look back at my most recent, my first videos, I don't think they're that great, but it was a start. But it's like I can't ramble. Okay, the lighting has to be decent. You have to be able to hear me. It's all these things that I hated. Like there can't be a 45-second intro, right? So I was like, get to the point quickly.
Yep.
Don't make a 10-minute video that you can make a 3-minute video. Get to
Wow,
the
you
point.
sound like every program director in radio I've ever had. That's phenomenal. That's a great way to look at it.
So that was the initial thing. That was the premise that I was going off of, and so I went out and shot like 3 or 4 videos on an outdoor rink, and I got back and I started watching them, like editing them, and I was practically falling asleep. And I was like, this is so boring.
Right.
And usually, if you watch something that you created, you're like, oh, this is awesome. Right? Like I'm great, but I
Usually, if you're gonna go anywhere, you usually hate everything that you do.
Oh, okay.
A little bit,
Yeah.
just a little
I
bit.
just
That
thought-
is how it works, I think.
I thought you'd have a little more tolerance towards. Okay, so
Oh no, you're your harshest critic, or you should be anyway. So that's
I am.
great.
I
Yeah,
am
again.
now. So maybe I just had it all backwards. But I watched the video. I was like, yeah, this is really bad. And I deleted them all. And
Oh, wow.
I went and reshot them and then put them back up. And the next ones I was happy with. What I found is that I just wasn't like, not enough personality. Kind of just like, flat. So I was like, we got to get faster, to the point. Like, explain things, be animated, right? Like you, Steve.
Did you find? Thank you. That's all I got. I don't know how to cross over or anything. But did you find adding like jump cuts strange? Because that's something like I went to school for radio and TV, and they're like jump cuts, absolutely not. And you realize like a lot of times, like maybe when you're on the outdoor rink and you can't just always skate up to the camera and press start and stop. It's actually super helpful. And maybe
Yes.
it looks a little choppy, but I'm just look. I don't care if it looks choppy. Show me the thing that I clicked this for. You know what I mean?
Didn't know jump cuts. I knew Sexy Phil, which
That's
Phil
how I
DeFranco,
started.
Phil
Yep.
DeFranco, yes, and yourself as well. And my videos were basically like me explaining something for 3 minutes, and I had to get it all right in one take. There weren't
Oh,
jump
dude, I
cuts.
did that my
wow.
first like 2 years. It's so hard and it's so trash.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I think my videos now are much better because I think through the sequence better. I get multiple angles, I cut it together. And at a certain point, maybe after a few years, I'm like, when I'm talking, I need jump cuts. Like I have to eliminate the one time I went, like that can't be there.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you do it once or twice, then it's like it adds up and it just makes like get to the point faster, right? So then I started watching your videos and Phil DeFranco and be like, how do you do jump cuts? Like, how does this work? And I'm guessing you just kind of go and then you sometimes start where you ended off and then
Yeah, most people assume I just shoot the thing, but there would be an ungodly amount of footage, like of just silence of me rummaging around the room for something that I forgot.
You should include that every once in a while.
People are like, "Hey man, stream you making a video," and no, I'm never gonna do it because you'll never watch me again.
Okay,
Because
good.
you'll be like, "Okay, I saw how the sausage is made, and I don't like it at all." I press start stop because, and there's still like a 10-minute video will be about 25 minutes of footage.
Yeah.
And I'm starting and stopping.
okay, yeah, I think we're pretty much at the same point then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'll say something and then I'll kind of trail off into nothing. I'll be like, yeah, I can't. I got to start back over here, and then I'll do the same thing. There's like a few minutes of silence where I'm just like spinning around my chair and.
Yeah.
What am I saying again?
Yeah. I've had to watch the previous clip, like go into the camera and be like, I don't remember what I just said. I don't know. Or like, dude, I got dogs and I'm doing it from home, and oh my god, the dog just crapped in the house or something. I gotta run upstairs and do something.
But you got to leave those things in there, right? You got the odd time you leave it in there.
Oh, well,
You should definitely show the dog poo.
Oh, for sure. On
sure.
YouTube. Would that get flagged? I don't know.
I don't know. Would it? Does that
I
get flagged?
assume so.
Jesse, do you know?
I don't know.
Have you
don't
gotten
know.
something
We should
flagged?
find out.
Yeah.
Demonetized?
Yeah.
Aren't every
And
video on this channel?
they
Not
went-
me. I've
No?
Yeah, I've never gotten something
No swearing.
demonetized.
They went through a
swearing, yeah,
phase
it's PG.
last year where they were just flagging everything. And like, I don't swear on my own channel, so I don't even know what it was.
Someone didn't like how you were.
I mean, maybe.
Bruins fans, maybe.
Maybe.
Man, they got everything. Like,
Yeah, really.
maybe a Sens fan, maybe a Habs fan. But all I had to do was be like, actually, no. And they were like, you're right, no.
Oh.
So it was a waste of time. No, congrats to you. Because you didn't have to go through that.
The only time I've had things demonetized is if I used NHL clips. Like I'm trying to
Right.
demonstrate like how to do something, and I was like, "Here's a really awesome clip of Datsuk doing this deke," and I show it for like 15 seconds, and it's like, "Nah, this is ours now," and they make money off of it.
That's. Yeah, sorry, what were you going to say, Jesse?
If there was one player you had to say, this guy is the perfect skater in the NHL,
Ooh.
who is it?
Right now, it's McDavid for sure.
Yeah, okay.
And it's because hockey is so much more than a forward stride. Everyone thinks like, oh, okay, the fastest skater, which I guess now is Connor McDavid. Well, maybe Dylan Larkin, but there's some controversy.
I don't know. There was that Ottawa Senator player today that has Connor McDavid's
Alex
speed.
Formenton? Or-
That's what they said.
He started on the top line tonight.
Yeah,
wing?
he'll
He's
probably
gonna
start on
get
the
a
top
hattie,
line every
like,
night.
during the show, you know it.
You don't know.
Hat trick. I can't wait. I can't wait.
But I say
Him and Balsers, they're the future.
I say McDavid because I say he's the best hockey skater because it's so much more than just skating in a straight line. It's
Right.
the lateral movement, it's the crossover, it's the deception in his skating where he's going to attack a goalie full speed and then have the goalie on the other side of the net while he's on this side just kind of tucking the puck gently across the goal line. Like it's ridiculous.
He's a freak. And it's interesting you said hockey skater because he was doing dryland training with Matt Nickel. You ever work with Matt Nickel?
I haven't worked with him, but I'm familiar with him. He's yeah.
Okay. So he was doing dryland training with Matt Nickel and a few other players, and one of them was Wayne Simmons. And they had this track where you ran in a straight line, and then based on there were two lights, and whichever light went off, you had to go that way,
Reaction.
into that lane.
What was it called?
Reaction.
Oh,
Basically.
reaction,
Yeah,
okay.
Oh, so you know that? Okay.
Well,
so Simmons is faster straight away.
yeah.
McDavid was faster at that drill,
Yes.
which
Which makes a lot of sense because that's hockey.
well, it's
Yeah.
you got to change direction.
Stops and
all.
starts,
You
right?
have to like
And adapt.
quickly react and adapt to things that are happening, right? So you could skate straight in a fast line, fast in a straight line, but if somebody's coming this way, you need to adjust quickly, and then someone else comes this way, you need to adjust again. So it's like the quicker that you can do that, that's buying you time, and you could actually be a slower skater with faster reaction time, and I'd say you'd probably be more effective on the ice.
Right.
Yeah, it's like efficiency and
It's interesting because like Paul Correa was one guy that growing up, that was what coaches always talked about it. They said, he'll never win a, the All-Star game skate around the rink. He's never going to win that. What he is going to win is your quickness battle. It's the first three strides, right? It's that chop, 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 gone.
Yeah.
And that is the game. And what was always interesting too about the way he did it was when the play changed, and it changes on you very quickly, he was able to just throw his weight in that direction. And he didn't have much weight to throw. He's not a big man.
No.
But he was that kind of guy that, and it matters when it comes to momentum and that sort of thing. He was able to shift his momentum in that, and that's the hardest thing to do.
Shifting weight is huge.
This is
It's
what
trust,
we were
right?
talking about because I'm feeling much more confident on my left, and on my right, I'm like I don't know how to go from being like I don't know how to go a couple degrees off center.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Is everyone listening familiar that you're learning to play?
Oh,
I
yeah.
think so.
okay,
They
okay.
should be. Like I don't know. A bunch of people on my Insta are like, "Wait, what?" And I'm like, "Yes. If you're a Harry Potter fan, I am a hockey squib. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying.
Yes.
I'm trying, and gonna play in a charity hockey tournament with these two fine folks.
If
in
I ever
November.
sign up for it.
If you ever sign up for it, Jesse signed up.
By the way, the Leafs are up 2-1. And I don't even know who scored the second goal. But keep going. Give the thing a plug, by the way. Andreas Borgman.
Hey, no way. Why was I so surprised? It's the Eric Lindros Celebrity Hockey Classic for Easter Seals. I've tweeted it 1,000 times, so go ahead and look at that. Actually, it's the link in my bio on Instagram.
Do we have a coach yet?
Do we have I'm a player coach.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, we should invite Jeremy on to be our coach.
That would actually be
skating coach. You can be the player coach.
Let me check the schedule. See if I can
Depending on how trash we are in the first game, we might get you to play games 2 and 3.
I'll put my skates on the bench just in case. Hop over the boards real quick.
Do you remember what the first video for you was that like took off?
First video that took off.
That really, you're like, oh man.
Actually, yeah. Actually, before I get into that, I just want to give a quick plug to the game of hockey because a lot of people listening might be hockey fans. And they might be inspired by Steve taking up the game a little bit later in life. It is never too late to play hockey.
No.
Never. And I have a YouTube video.
I watched it. Yep.
I went out and in Huntsville, where I used to live, there's a 60 plus or a 50 plus league and a 60 plus league. And these guys go out 3 times a week for an hour and a half. And there are some guys that are 70 or 80 years old, and there are some guys that started when they were like 60 and started when they were 70. So if you start at the young age of 30 or 40, you still have a good 30 years of
30.
Yeah. I'm saying for the older listeners.
Gotcha. Okay.
Of course, you're not a day over 25.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Sorry. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you start at 30, you got another 40 years. You can play in. I think there's like even like an old timers Olympics or something. There's a lot going on out there.
There should be a senior professional league like there is in golf. I'd watch that.
No, nobody would.
You don't think so?
That.
There's
I
like
would watch
senior. Isn't there like senior A?
There is a senior hockey league, and it's basically people punching their faces in. Yeah.
Is that
It's not seniors like 80 years old. It's like
that's not the Quebec
That's awesome.
fighting league, is it?
No.
I forget what it's called.
No,
The Quebec fight.
It used to be you get your money back if there wasn't a fight.
Wow, man.
This was only a few years ago.
Quebec's a crazy place.
yeah, it's basically like junior hockey after junior hockey. Like once you're too old for junior hockey, it's like you can play in the senior league, and I think it's like Canada only. And there's like a cup that they compete for.
That's so strange. Like I don't understand why NCAA everything is so huge and CIS almost nothing is huge. Like, sorry?
U Sports. It's not CIS anymore.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
okay, I didn't know that. Well, why U
From the younger
Sports?
guy in the
Yeah, I mean, jeez.
The CIS doesn't exist. Yeah.
But is it because no one even knew what CIS was in the first place that they called it U Sports now, or
No, they just changed the organization.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like
It's
I
how they
find
could get away
strange
with
that
it. You couldn't change the NCAA.
No, yeah, exactly. Well, it's too established, right?
In the States, everything is more collegiate. Like your high school hockey is huge, especially in Minnesota. If anyone has a chance to see the high school hockey tournament in Minnesota, it is ridiculous. They sell out the Excel Center.
Wow.
They sell it out. People are scalping tickets to watch high schoolers play hockey. And there's people walking around with like the kids' jerseys. They're like high school students.
Americans just straight up are better sports fans. Period. About everything. Like they've got chance, they've got this, they've got that, and whatever they're going to, they're hardcore for that thing.
So
whatever it is, doesn't matter what the sport is.
And it's like it's high school, It's like you're pretty much a professional player. Like when you're in grade 8, you're aspiring to be a high school hockey player. And then when you're in high school, you're aspiring to be a college hockey player. And then when you get to college, you can aspire to be in the NHL. It's a better system in my mind, right? Because it's all through the school system, whereas in Canada, it's controlled through Hockey Canada, right? So that's why the high school hockey isn't that great, because the best hockey is outside of the school. And same with college hockey in university. And also there's no scholarships.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's like a handful of high schools that like you might get drafted or something. What's that one in Aurora or something like that?
I'm not 100% on that.
St. Andrew? I want to say
there
St. Andrew?
are some that are private. It's not. It's more of like a like you're basically your second period is hockey. Like you go on the ice and play, and it's ridiculous. It's like you're being groomed for hockey. There's a few like that academies.
Right.
Yeah, but no one I knew who had a chance at like even junior would even play high school hockey, because they're like, no, I got to play with my club team.
Yeah.
I'm playing AAA. I'm not wasting my time playing high school hockey.
Yeah.
So all the lower end kids would play high school
Yeah,
hockey.
high school
That's
hockey is
kinda
like fun.
Yeah.
It's like an extra more ice time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you play on the high school team?
No,
Adam?
no, I wasn't good enough there. We had guys from junior on our team. And I remember I started in grade 9, and I think I would have been 140 pounds, and these guys were grade 13, right? And tried out for it because they would bring everybody to the same thing, and you have a senior and a junior team that you get picked out of that. And some guy blew me up so hard in the first fucking practice. And I could hear his buddy go, "No, don't do it," from the bench, and I'm like, uh-oh. And this is a man hitting a child, right?
Oh yeah,
He blew me the fuck up so bad. It was just like flayed on the ice. I'm like, I'm glad I'm going back to house league because this shit is not for me. And that was it. And I went on and did other things like band and choir.
Our team got chirped. I think I was on the rugby team in grade 9, and we kept getting chirped because one of our players was like, you can stay in high school until you're like 21. And this guy was like 20 years old. He's just smashing 14-year-olds.
Oh my God.
and of course we were like down 30-0 after the first, like every game.
That
so he's
be
just
allowed.
like going out there and basically assaulting minors. It's brutal.
Wow.
It's brutal.
Well, right? Like the size difference between when you enter high school and when you leave is huge, especially when there was that double cohort year, which was the year we were in grade 9. So I was like, after that, I'm like, I'm just going to play hockey. And like, I had other interests. And so I never did. No, I probably wouldn't have been good enough to even make the junior team. Let's be honest. They were all guys that were in double A and wanted the extra ice team.
Puberty plays a big role in it too. There's some kids that are like, they have mustaches in grade 6. They're shaving by grade 8 and they have a full beard in like grade 10. And then there's like the great kids in grade 10 that still have squeaky voices. And it's it's tough to put a guy that's like 200. He's like a man child.
Well, and you read what's the book by the guy that the 10,000 hours guy?
Daniel Coyle, the Talent Code.
Not him, but the other guy. There's a
Malcolm Gladwell.
Oh,
Malcolm Gladwell.
The Outliers.
And he talks about hockey players. Yeah. And he talks about the ones that are most of them are born between like January and April, right? Because they're older in their cohort years. So anyway, it's that sort of stuff is totally fascinating. Do you think that actually plays a role, though?
Oh, it does, yeah. Because for two reasons. Number one is that, especially when you're younger, like I have a 3-year-old and he's born in January, and he's not going to start school until next year. But his friend, who was born like 11 days earlier, is starting school, right?
Oh.
And so my kid's going to be basically a full year older his first year of school. And from a 3-year-old to being 4, it's a huge difference in, like, they change a lot.
Cognitively, yeah.
Yes. Like, they're much, like, he changes in a few months. He's, like, twice as smart, I'd say. So
my wife is a junior kindergarten teacher, and she just started full-time this year. And she talks about her kids and her babies. Like, she has kids that are, like, they're just out of diapers or maybe not even out of diapers. And they don't know how to do anything. And it's because think of the percentage of your life that is.
Yeah,
a year at 4 years old?
Yeah. Think about how long
of your life.
Think about how long a day feels at 4 years old, right?
I remember
your perspective is warped.
I remember one day in grade 1 looking at the calendar and going, I'm going to live forever. Because I was just like, this day is so long. I'm going to be so smart because I learned this one thing today, and I'm going to be alive forever. So I'm just going to learn everything. I was 6. So
Speaking of learning, so if someone's an adult right now and they have never played hockey, not a great skater, what's the first thing you recommend that they do?
You gotta get some skates, and you gotta work on your balance.
Having the skates. Okay.
Number one, you
have the skates.
You can start with rollerblades. That might help, but get a helmet because you'll probably elbow pads, knee pads, whatever. Put that protection on, right? But I would say get some skates, get on the ice, and as often as possible. Because the more you're out there, you got to get your balance. You're gonna feel like so off.
When you do get on the ice, stick or no stick?
I'd say go to public skating, and if you've never skated before, you're pretty much gonna be holding onto the boards and like walking around the rink. And there's people at public skating that are doing that, but and then you can go to. At public skating, I don't think you can bring a hockey stick.
But we did.
Oh, you did?
We did the first time.
But there was like 5 people.
We got enough messages from people like, "Don't do that."
Oh, whatever.
It's been helpful actually.
Has it?
Oh yeah, no, it's because I was sort of using it as a crutch, right?
Yes.
And so you want to learn.
Okay.
You can use the walkers and stuff, the little push things, but as an adult, it does look a little silly. A hockey stick can be like your tripod. It's going to save you from falling on your face the odd time. But if you use it as a crutch, then I'd say your first few skates, not a bad idea. Then drop it, because then you're forced to have your weight actually over your feet where they should be, and not leaning on the stick. Because if you learn to always lean on the stick, if it gets moved, you're going to fall on your face.
I knew to take it out because the side I'm struggling to cross over to is the right, and I'm right-handed. So I would just like lean on the stick the whole time, and I mean, I'm bound to wipe out. You know, unless I have the stick under there, or what if, so all someone has to do is skate by me and stick lift. And I fall down.
Exactly.
So I want to figure it out.
So I'd say, engage in anything hockey related as often as possible. It can be rollerblading, it can be going to public skating.
And even in the summertime, just going around, if you've got a street or something, just play with a ball and a stick.
Absolutely. And that's the other thing is you're shooting your stick handling. So 3 major skills: shoot, stick handle, and skate. And shooting and stick handling, you can do at home. No problem. You need something smooth. Like there's plastic sheets. I work with a company called Hockey Shot, and they sell basically like synthetic ice or fake ice. Where
Can you skate on it too?
They're the more expensive stuff you can. If you want to save some money, which I would recommend when you're first starting, you can get like a little shooting pad, it's called. And it's like a piece of thin plastic, and it just basically protects the bottom of your stick from getting torn up from the pavement, but it also lets a puck slide more like it would on the ice. It's not the same, but it's a lot better.
Cool.
So, you're working on, there's so many things you can work on: stick handling, your technique, your form, and your shooting as well. If you can find a spot to rip pucks and not break things, that's, you can improve so much those 2 major skills without any ice at all. Then you get on the ice and you're going to be like, I suck again, because it's, it's different. Yes, there is a transition period, but it's actually like, I call it like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. If you're training a lot, it's more probably like 30 steps forward and then like 5 steps back. Yeah. But you will eventually bridge that gap.
No, only steps forward. I can only take steps forward. Give me that. No.
Well, and I've been playing ball hockey in my driveway forever. And I was like, I got a good shot. Yeah. And then I get on the ice with a puck. No,
and that's the thing.
Not at all. It was 5 steps forward, 20 back.
It's because the ice is so much faster, right? So you're used to, you put a certain amount of force on the puck with your stick, and it stays there, and it's like more friction. So it's kind of like, it almost stuck to the blade. But if you put that same amount of force and move with the same speed, you're going to touch the puck, and then on the ice it's going to go like this. And you're like, I'm not fast enough. The puck, why isn't it going anywhere? It's because you have to be a lot faster. Your responses, your movements have to be faster on the ice for the shooting portion. Anyways.
If you're an adult getting into hockey, and let's say you can skate like a little bit, you can make it around the ice without touching the boards the whole time. Yeah. All right, and maybe you're not great. Maybe you can't skate backwards, but just joining a low-level men's league or women's league, if you're an adult, does that kind of give you the benefit of, like, A, it forces you to get on the ice, but B, does it give you the benefit of just playing? Just playing.
It's great, because playing is, that's why you learn how to play hockey, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be challenging. You will improve just by playing, because there's a lot more to hockey than just the skills. There's the hockey sense and reacting, reading, and then once you get past reading, reacting, there's manipulating, like actually being able to do something that causes a player to go over here when you want to go over there. And that's like kind of where the elite guys are at. But at the beginning, it's you need to play, because then you can read the game, you can learn your positioning, you can your brain is going to be trained a lot, and a lot of it is mental. Just figuring out how to move the puck and play with 5 people. Right?
Get scored on a bunch. Yeah. And then you go, I remember that goal. Okay, I'm going to try to not have that happen.
And let's not forget, one of the most important aspects is the beers in the dressing room.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, and the thing is like...
it's good when you lose 3 straight games and you're like, well, at least this.
Yes.
That was me last year.
Yeah.
I interviewed Brian Williams once for a college project.
Can you do a Brian Williams voice?
No, I can't. I'm terrible.
Brian Williams.
No, he's tough.
Which Brian Williams?
Brian Williams, Olympics and hockey, former.
I think that's a good Brian Williams. Screw you. Brian Williams.
Anyway, Brian is just phenomenal to talk to about sports in any capacity. But one of the things he said was, we're talking about youth hockey. We're talking about, like, one of the things that got me out of playing, even the competitive level that I got to, was power skating on a Friday night when you're 14 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, fuck that. I mean, we all at 14, you're in single A. If you're in single A, you may make it. Chances are, though, you probably want to be in AAA by that age and being scouted, because you're going to get drafted the next year. Yeah. So unless you make some phenomenal leap forward, none of those kids are making the NHL. And yes, sometimes the only time you can get ice time is for power skating is a Friday night. But for me, it was kind of like, why am I doing this? I love this game so much, and this is making me hate it. And what Brian Williams said was, just let the kids play. He's like, what he said Walter Gretzky did, he said that was fascinating, is that he just let Wayne play. Wayne Gretzky was up at 5:30 in the morning because Wayne wanted to be up before school, not because Walter forced him to get up before school. And he said that's the difference. And I feel like that's the same with adults too. And I think that's what holds them back is that there's this, oh no, that time has passed. And that I can't do that. And I think it's important as an adult because responsibilities start to take over. You have kids, you have dogs, you have a mortgage, whatever. You got to play. Because you also have to be a fun person for those kids, dogs, and mortgage. You know?
Fair. And something that's interesting is it only happens in team sports where it's like it's not okay. I can't get any better at this. But individual sports, at any age you can hire a swing coach for golf. And that's not odd or weird. Like you can go to the range and just whack balls like on every night if you want. Tennis, you can get same thing. You can get a private coach, but if you're 40 and you try to hire a private hockey coach, they'll be like, I thought you were 10 years old. Like if you emailed them, it's like, okay, so how old is your kid?
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
You're creating a market for yourself, by the way, right now. This is creating a job.
I just always thought it was so strange. It's like if you're bad at hockey, you just have to be you have to be the bad guy on the team, and you have to pass the puck to the guys that are better, or go to the net and hope the good guys pass to you so you can bang in one or two.
I mean, that was my plan.
But
it's a good plan if you want to score some goals.
Yeah.
It's not how it has to be. You can get like I said, you can practice your stick handling, your shooting at home, but the thing is, it's because if you're seen trying to get better at team sport, it's like, get over it.
You're a loser.
You weren't good when you're, as a kid.
But if you're 60 and want to play golf better, it's fine.
Yeah.
But that's not straight.
But that's a man's game.
It's weird how we have that mentality.
I also think, too, there's got to be some wealth that plays into that. Like, tennis and golf are notoriously rich people games, or at least were in the past developed that way. They were aristocracy games. And so I wonder if that's
hockey kind of is, too.
For sure, but it didn't start out that way.
To be elite.
Hockey was not a French aristocratic pastime in the 1700s. Tennis was.
Right. It's become that way.
For sure. And that's because of capitalism. That's different. Completely different conversation.
And crazy hockey parents.
And crazy ass hockey parents. Yeah.
And $350 buckets.
Which I did buy.
Jesus,
but
Adam.
when you have a head the size... I did, because it was I tried on every Bauer, every CCM, everything, and the only thing that fit me was they have this... This is amazing. Hockey equipment has come so far. I had this bucket Nike helmet from 12 years ago that's thin as paper, and that was supposed to be the best that they could do at the time. And now these helmets are like, you're going to space. And it has a clip on top of it that actually, like, you used to have to get a screwdriver out and pull it apart. Now it's just a clip. And then I was able to, like, take it apart, and then it went right to my head.
Yeah,
and
that's
like,
a normal helmet. We all have that helmet.
But there wasn't any.
Put it in. You had it on the biggest setting.
It was on the biggest setting possible, and then I squeezed it on. But I was like, "Is this going to give me headaches?" No, but every other helmet was gonna squeeze my head. So I was like, "Nah, whatever. I'm buying it. It's the last damn helmet I'm ever buying."
At least you're going to use it, right?
Absolutely. I'm in a men's league.
There you go.
By the way, I have to jump back to the question you asked about the first video, just in case.
Oh yeah. Let's do it.
I wanted to know about the first.
Yeah. I do.
We do that every show. I'm sorry, everybody.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah. The first video that ever blew up was, and it's not a good video.
How to tie a hockey tie. No, I'm kidding.
Actually, that'll go. I'll go in that direction later.
That actually would do really well.
That would do really, really well.
Anyway,
the first one was how to stick handle like Pavel Datsyuk.
Oh,
because
nice.
I was watching some interview of Datsyuk, and he said that he would put weight plates on his stick and practice. So I think it was maybe it was called like Pavel Datsyuk stick handling tip or something like that. So I was taking a tip that he said in an interview, and then just spreading it. So I start the video. I'm in a red jersey. It's a Team Canada jersey, and I'm up in like my mom's barn because like I needed a space to shoot, right? And people watched the video because in the thumbnail, I guess they thought that I was Pavel Datsyuk.
What? Oh, because of the red jersey.
Because a red jersey and like far, I guess from a distance, like they thought, and because of the title. And it was like obviously I was, okay, Datsyuk is a great stick handler. This is a great tip. This will like help a lot of people. So I put Datsyuk in the title because
of course.
Sure.
It was a tip that he said. So I'm like, okay, I start the video. This is something I saw in an interview. Datsyuk said that he was using weight plates. And so I'm going to try it out in this video. So I got like these 5-pound weight plates and I slid them over the shaft of the hockey stick, then tried stick handling. and it's like it's tough. It's basically a weighted stick.
Yeah.
But in the video, I don't know why. It's like, I just start talking. I was calling them dumbbells and not weight plates. So the video.
So who cares?
Everybody on the
Oh, the internet! Why are you asking that?
Oh my God.
It was one of those
That's
things
like
where it's
making a spelling mistake, only he didn't.
I said it like 3 times in the video, but it's because it was just in my head, and I was just like talking and like kind of like I'm just trying to make sure I get through the video sort of thing, and then I noticed it in editing. So I put this is when you can do
dumbbells, weight plates.
This is when you can put annotation. So I put like a giant annotation right over. By the way, I know it was like I started the video that way. And it didn't matter. Every comment, every third comment.
That probably made them do it more because they're like, it's going to bug them.
That's not a dumbbell, you dumbbell. Here's like comments like that. And then the other comments were like, this isn't Datsuk. But like, I think it has like almost 1 million views now or something like that. And it just, I don't know, it just keeps on. But it's not a great video. It's a cool video. It's fun. But it's like, I think a lot of people thought it was Datsuk. But going to the other, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Going to the other, another video, which I was doing videos like I thought would help the most people, like how to take a wrist shot, how to stop, how to skate. And then there was, how to tape a hockey stick. And I'm like, everyone knows how to tape a hockey stick. Like this, but I'm like, there's probably a few people that don't. So
is there a better way to tip it than tape it? It's just taping the stick, right?
Exactly.
I know people are anal about it, but really, does it matter?
Well,
some people just don't know.
Yeah. So I thought, and that's why I'm like, I'm not going to do this video.
So this is basically how to tie a tie.
Whenever I see them do it quickly, I'm like, how don't you fold it over accidentally once?
But because you've done it a million. Like some guys tape their stick every game.
Yeah, Crosby. In front of the camera.
In fact, the
it's a great shot.
NHLers do, but
I think pretty much every pro, they have like
They would have
multiple
to.
sticks, and they after 3 shifts, they're like, I'm taking a new one.
Yeah.
And that's why I didn't do the video, because I'm like, I'm going to get laughed at. People are like, this is the dumbest video. Like, do something more advanced, right? And so I did how to tape a hockey stick. I did one for the blade and one for the grip as well. And I think both those videos are probably close to 1 million views now.
that's amazing.
That's Mark
you know what?
Savard's entire YouTube channel. Have you seen his channel?
He has a great channel, by the way.
does.
And he's obsessive about that stuff.
Underrated. Super underrated.
I was trying to shoot some videos with him over the summer, because that's like kind of the downtime I figured. And no response.
I got his number.
He called the show once. Didn't we? We were gonna have him on a few weeks ago. We pushed him off.
Fully canceled on him. So we gotta.
We've had him on. It's not like
We've
we
had him
haven't-
on. I
we
want to
thought
have
we
him
had
on again.
Yeah, but like
I didn't try too hard. It was kind of like a passing comment sort of thing. It's not like I was hounding, like blowing up his inbox or anything like that.
He should listen.
I think-
He's an aspiring YouTuber. You're up here,
Yeah.
bud. You got more than twice as many followers as me. Mark Savard should be calling you.
From Jeremy to Mark, please. From Jeremy to Mark, please.
No, from Mark to Jeremy.
But
That's what it should be.
he is a great YouTuber because it's unique. It's like so niche, and he's so genuine, and it's a pro player with so much insight. He's like the perfect YouTuber.
He says everything with heart.
Yeah.
You believe it. Like there's like an emotional attachment to the words that Mark Savard has, and I think that's what makes him so great on YouTube, right?
It's
You
not
believe
just
that.
here's how you tape your stick like Eric Karlsson. It's like, folks, wait till you get a load of this.
He loves tape jobs.
Show me how you do it. I'm Jack Mark. Let's go.
I would just like to say that we have more subscribers than Mark Savard. So
He's just
take
started.
that.
Listen, he's aspiring
Take
YouTuber.
that, savvy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, come on our show.
He has a
Sorry for canceling.
he has a very specific. He has a hyper specific. Like his,
Hockey is niche enough.
Yes. And he's talking about tape jobs. There's only about maybe 20, 30,000 people that care that much about taping hockey sticks.
But that's still 20,000 more than most people get.
Apparently
right?
1 million.
well,
right?
fair enough.
I'm
Okay.
looking up yours, by the way, after this. I got to take my
I'm
stick
saying
tonight.
that care that much. There's people that want to know how to do it, and that's the end of the road for them. Right. They don't want to know too much about heel to toe, toe to heel, stripes, powders, like all these really specific things. But the kids that are in playing AAA hockey, they love that. They eat that up, right? It's like I've been chirped so many times for how I've taped because I'm just like throwing on a quick tape job in like a more lifestyle type video. Like I'm going up in the mountains to play hockey, and I throw a quick tape job on there, and then I get like, I know the types of people that are going to comment on how I tape my stick, and they do. You didn't cover the toe.
I was gonna ask you about like loser comments that you must get because like, you must get some that like it's like I remember Nazem Kadri posted a video and he was doing a sort of he was doing squats, but they were just supposed to be squats that for the upper
Top
end
half.
top half squats.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of like bros on there going, Nas, you gotta get some depth, bro. You gotta get some depth. No wonder you can't skate, bro. Like bullshit like
his
that.
trainer has no idea what to tell
Yeah,
Nazem
sure.
Kadri.
I'm sure $5 million a year Nazem Kadri doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
For you, do you get a lot of that?
I get some of it, but not. I feel like the professional players are unfairly. It's like once you sign that NHL contract, you're no longer a person. Like,
Yeah.
In the eyes of the fans, we can say whatever we want to you, and it's perfectly okay. Like,
And you have to represent the Leaf and be okay with it.
And who would
Yeah.
rip on Roman Polak? Who would do such a thing?
Have we ever
the
ripped
time.
on Roman Polak, the person? Never.
No.
it depends on the type of comments, and that's the thing. I will fully agree and leave a negative comment or as long as it's like adding to the conversation. If somebody
Right.
says something and it's an alternate side, like if it's the opposing view of what I'm saying, that's fine, right? Because it brings up discussion and thought, and it brings up debate, and I think that's good. But if someone's just like, "You freaking suck," right?
Yeah.
You're dust, bud. I'm like,
They really do have 4 comebacks, eh?
You're dust.
You're
bud.
dust.
you're dust,
Yeah,
bud.
Bender.
So exactly. So stuff like that, I'll just be like, delete. You know, I just if I see it, I'll like,
Oh, I don't even touch it.
yeah, I don't know.
That's funny. No, I think hockey football is too. I guess it's any sport, but you know, there are a lot of people out there who think they know a lot about hockey, and the truth is, very few of us know much of anything when it comes down to those particular. I mean, you could talk to even like it would be like asking Mike Babcock to talk about medical stuff, which he does not anymore, right? You can't have a coach. The coach does the coach thing.
Yeah.
Medical staff does the medical staff thing. Skating coaches do the skating coaches things. Power play, it's very specialized now.
Yes, very
so to know
specialized.
the entire game as a whole thing is pretty tough to do.
Yeah, and what I've seen a lot is, you know, from following a lot of other skills coaches, is that they know what they're doing and they're showing something, and it's like a small part of something. And the people that are commenting like, "Oh, you have to do this, you didn't do that," they don't understand the context around it,
Yeah.
because they're only seeing that one small thing, and it doesn't make sense to them. But for me, I'm like, okay, like I can see this as part of maybe a progression,
Right.
that he's doing. Like you said, you know, the squats that are only like
Top half.
top
Yeah.
half,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're not going to explain all of that. It's just like a quick little clip, and for some people it doesn't make sense, so they want to, you know, sound important.
Rip a guy who makes a lot more money and is a lot better
To
than
the
them.
gym bros, you friggin' do them.
Yeah, right.
They suck.
Yeah.
But basically, what I found is if there's something that's just like negative for the sake of being negative, early on, I was like, I'm just going to let everything ride. And what ended up happening is one person would say something negative, and then somebody would say
spiral.
something negative back to them, and then the comment section would turn into just the most.
And I voted for Trump. This is bullshit. You know,
Well,
it's what it always comes back to
It's
that.
the most despicable thing that
Yeah.
I've ever read. So I'm like, I
That's
have
a great
to,
game to play. How many comments it takes to get to the president,
Or-
not
or-
even Trump, the active
Yeah.
president.
Or owning-
This happened before him.
Owning you libs.
Yeah,
you know, it's I don't know, like 14-year-olds are trying to say the most offensive thing they can think of.
Sure,
And
as
it has
we all do.
nothing to do with the video. So then I started deleting. Like if I saw something early, like posting the first day, because like I'll post something, I'll check back the next day, see what people are saying, and then respond to any like general comments that I
Yeah.
think like maybe I missed something or someone has a question about a way I explain something, and then I can respond to that, and it goes up to the top, and other people see it. I find that, you know, it's helpful for the conversation. If there's one person who's just trying to be an idiot, like a troll comment, I'll delete that because it could turn into just the
Now
comment
you're-
section turning into
No.
being worthless.
you're trying to silence them.
Yeah.
And
Stop,
how dare you?
Stop silencing free speech, man.
Oh my god, man! I've had a few times recently where it's like, "Hey, man, someone who follows you said this to me. Can you tell them to stop?" I'm like, "What? If I had to do that every time, that would be all I do."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
can't-
it's
you
not
can't
my
do
fault.
that.
They're dumb.
You're not responsible for
sorry.
other people.
Like,
And also, so I want to ask you as a coach, who's your coaching idol? Who's the guy that you looked up to? Maybe it was the first inspiration, maybe it's the current inspiration, the person you're like, guy or girl.
Yep.
Wow.
As a kid, I would say I didn't have anyone that was like always there for me, the mentor. There's someone who like took me, like it taught me everything I know. And I almost wish that I had that. being in the position I am now, because it's so much easier to be sure of something that was taught to you and like pounded into you. Like,
Right.
this is the way it is because this guy knew everything, right? And you have that to fall back on. For me, I always have to make sure, like, it's a little bit more like, all right,
you go back sort of thing and check.
yeah, I have to be a little bit more sure that, and I look to science to like, okay, make sure that it's the best. But I think it's almost made me a better coach, because I will take anything any coach says and accept it, and then, test it and try it and kind of battle test it until I know it works, right? So I'm not just going to take something at face value, or I'm not stuck teaching something that used to work, or
was the standard, but now there's something better.
there's a better, more efficient way of getting to the same point we're trying. Like, both the actions will get you to here, but there's a better way to do it. So I find that I'm not stuck. So yeah, growing up, I didn't really have. I had good coaches and ones that, but not in, I guess, like the technical side of like teaching the game, just like being supportive and just showing up when nobody wanted to coach the team. Like, they're like, I'll do it. Right?
What about professional coaches? Is there a coach style that you really love?
Yeah. So now getting into I go all into coaching, like leadership, all aspects of it. So when I was starting the YouTube channel, it was Daryl Belfry, because he was the only guy who was doing like really detailed, like specific stuff and sharing it. There wasn't anyone that was like, everyone was kind of like, oh, this is my secret. No one can know this. I can't let this get out.
Kind of like when Extra Skater was a website, right? For advanced stats.
Sort of. Well, yeah, and the Leafs took it offline.
Yeah, like there was those few sites that popped up, or what was the original Cap Geek?
Cap Geek.
Yeah.
Yes,
Cap Geek was the original. Like
that was the original, and then for a while there was just nothing.
Yeah. And then Cap Friendly kind of took over, but that's the well, and then there was
General Fanager
and there was for a year and a half, and now he works for
remember.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Who was also on this show, and we would never be able to contact him now because he's gone on to be the AGM in Vegas.
You've DM'd him a couple times or sent a couple texts.
Yeah,
right?
during the season he was pretty sparse, and I even said that once the season was done, he was like, "Yeah, sorry." But like,
so Belfry was big because not having someone who like taught me all the most correct things, I was like, okay, I have to make sure it's right. I'm watching slow-mo videos. I'm going out in my garage. I'm testing. I'm going on the ice. I'm seeing how it works. I'm getting radar guns. I'm testing.
Wow.
Like, I want to, like, okay, I'm teaching someone
You're genuinely curious about all this stuff,
yeah,
right?
like, I want to make sure it's the best before I put it out there. I want to make sure it works. So I got, okay, what is the best way to improve your shot power? And I'm tweaking and testing, and I realized a lot of things. I'm like, well, that's not exactly how I was taught it. And I'm doing this, and now I'm watching NHL players, and they're actually shooting this way. And it doesn't line up to, the standard, the typical, like, okay, heel to toe, transfer your weight, point the toe where you want the puck, all these like small things, right? So I found, but I was a little bit like unsure, because I'm like, well, everyone else is coaching this, but I'm seeing something a little different and feeling something a little different. And then I found Belfry's videos, and I was like, oh, he's like kind of, there's some things where he's coaching, and that's how I would, like how what I found. So I was like, okay, well, I got a little more reassurance, like saying it in a video, or I was like, okay, that's going to send me down a path to find more about like certain skills. So he was huge for that. Yeah.
There's a video I watched of yours of something that I haven't tried yet. With what's his name, Scott
Grover.
Scott Grover,
Yeah,
yes,
great guy from Barrie. If anyone's looking for power skating,
Yeah.
in Barrie, I'll give him a plug.
He's great in your videos, man. He's really easy to follow. But he was talking about when you learn to skate backwards, they teach you, what is it, the C?
Yeah, C cut.
Yeah, but he was saying like, no, that's garbage.
Yeah,
Like it just it doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
It's like a question mark sort of movement.
Yeah, more like that. And there's a lot of like things that were like came from figure skating and then into hockey, because figure skating coaches became power skating coaches, and some things transferred, some things didn't, and some things are valuable as a drill, but it's not actually how you do it in a game. But some people teach it as like this is how you're going to do it and the only way to do it. And in hockey, I think there's like very few things that's like the only way you should do it, because hockey is such a dynamic sport. You need to learn like 3 different ways to do one thing, right? Like acceleration, there's like all kinds of different ways you can accelerate, right? And take a
If
shot.
you get bored with one drill, you can find another acceleration drill if you want to work on the same thing, right?
Yeah, because there's acceleration starting from a standstill, which in a game you're almost never standing still, unless you're not a very good skater. But most of the time you should be moving, so then you have to accelerate from moving. But then other times you need to accelerate with a crossover first, and then there's all kinds of little things, or stop and start, accelerate, crossover. There's a bunch. But we won't get too much into that stuff.
No, but it's good to hear that stuff, right? You want to like that's the best part about the channel is that it's not about necessarily the systems; it's about the actual skills, right? It's about the skill set, which is missing. You know, even analysts don't really get into that skill set too much.
Yeah.
No, they just kind of look at the video and
See what he did with
recite
that
what he
blocker?
did.
That was cool.
He took a shot, and what a shot.
Look at the body positioning on that goaltender. That's what you normally get. It's the goaltender. It's like Kelly Rudy going, well, look at his body positioning. It's fantastic. And that's cool. But I think sometimes, and I get it from their perspective too, they don't want to get too inside. Because if you haven't played, you might not know what the hell they're talking about and tune out, right? It makes sense. But for us, like, niche guys were like, give me everything.
Exactly.
This is great.
Yeah.
And you do videos like stride analysis, which gets into
Yeah.
so in deep into how the guys are actually skating.
Oh yeah. It's I always like to dive. Like I try to keep it more for like beginner to intermediate, and every once in a while I'll go like more advanced and give people like that really detailed stuff. Yeah. So and there's a few other great coaches that you can follow. Like so talking about like other people as well. Mike Babcock is like basically like he's my dad at this point. It's like I'm tuning in.
He's Coach God?
Yeah, it's like before he was with the Leafs too. I always looked up to how, like his leadership style and how he presented himself and like how he put together a team. It wasn't about like finding the best, most skilled guys, at all costs. It's about like finding good people, right, and creating good habits and getting a team and then building a team. And I mean, the Red Wings made the playoffs like 20 years
in a row.
It's like
Yeah.
And you go Bowman to Babcock. It's not bad, right?
Yeah.
and he had Bowman as his mentor, and Scotty Bowman is also like huge in coaching as far as like leadership and advice. Like I heard a great story about he had like a little card that he kept in his wallet, and it's like something along the lines of what will I learn today and from whom, right? And that was his mentality. Like he saw everybody. Like he'd meet a minor hockey coach, and he'd like, oh, can I buy you coffee? And he'd sit there and just listen to the coach, like the minor hockey coach,
Scotty
talk
Bowman.
for like half an hour. Like maybe I'm going a little, but that's like the idea of
That's great.
that's what he would do. Like he just wanted to learn from everybody. He's not going to talk.
No. Why would you give away state secrets? Right?
I think it's more about
But also like you're absorbing, right? He's a sponge.
Yes.
And actually totally off topic, but still sort of. Have you heard the story about how Scotty Bowman met his wife, or at least how they decided that they were going to continue to be together?
I haven't.
Have you heard this one?
Who will I marry?
So and who will I marry today? No, he met a girl and he said and he was working in St. Louis at the time, so they were expansion team. And he said, "Why don't you come down to the game, and then we'll go for dinner afterwards, because you could do that back then.
Why don't you come on down to the NHL game I'm coaching?
Yeah, and then 10 minutes after the game's over, we'll go out to a steakhouse and no one bothers, whatever." So I guess at dinner after this game, they had tied, and she's like, "I didn't know how to feel about a tie," because she's like, I didn't know what hockey was. I didn't care about hockey. So she said, I told him that I decided a tie was bad because it wasn't a win. Even though it wasn't a loss, it was still bad. Yeah. And he's like, and that's when I knew I wanted to marry her.
Awesome. That's amazing.
Isn't that cool?
That is great.
It was one of my, like, that's, I don't know, of all the stories I've heard about Scotty Bowman, that's the thing that kind of stuck out. And and he never had that, he never seemed to have that intensity, you know what I mean? But like in interviews, but then you could see him on the bench and fire in his eyes.
Yeah.
Is there a guy that you think is coming up now in the NHL in terms of systems? It doesn't have to be, but is there a younger coach you go, that guy might be the next big guy?
Yeah. So I'm just going to give a few plugs first.
Sure,
because
please.
we were talking about stride analysis before.
Oh, yeah.
And Robbie Glantz, he has an NHL segment, and he does stride analysis, and he gets to actually use the NHL footage in his videos. Which
Nice.
Right? But I mean, he's a legend in the power skating circles. So if anyone, and I think you can find him online, he's like done analysis of like McDavid and Matthews, and like, and he's really good in detail. So if you're looking for that sort of thing, and then also just for Babcock, he has a book that he wrote, Leave No Doubt. Mm-hmm. And as far as coaching books go, like I found that most of the best coaching books are from basketball and football because of like the American system. It's just you're going to sell a lot more books. There's not a lot of hockey coaches that have written good books about like leadership and that sort of thing. But Leave No Doubt from Mike Babcock is amazing.
And what you were talking about, like, it's funny. Elliot Friedman likes to ask people what books they listen or they read. I like to ask people what podcasts they listen to because it's always kind of fascinating because it's such a niche thing, right?
It's sort of the same thing.
I guess.
I think.
Yeah, only it's like free.
Except I listen to my books, so does that count as a podcast?
No, that does not. That's a book. Book podcast completely different. But like podcasts, you do off. Usually, you kind of do off whatever, and then books are like read. Like you sit down, you write.
The reason he asked what books you're reading is because he knows what you're thinking about. And like for me with podcasts, I know for like weeks after I learned what hookworm was. Whenever I talk to anyone, I was like, okay, I heard this crazy story on this podcast. Do you know what hookworm is? Do you know that it infects like millions of people in the American South?
You told Jesse and I that in Nashville.
I'm sure I did.
So we both were terrified of hookworms from then on. So thank you.
You should have been.
But
That's like a mom thing to do.
yeah,
like,
really.
Yeah.
Have you
Be
heard
aware.
of hookworm? And then like you're worried about it now for like. It's like she finds a new thing and like eventually builds it up. Like, you know, by the time she's like 70, she's like just worried about everything. Knows about everything that could get you.
So we asked you kind of what you're listening to.
Right.
And you listened to one that's really, really interesting.
Yes. Perception and Action podcast, which is like super specific about motor learning and skill acquisition. And it's a university professor in the States where it's like, this is his class, and you're basically getting like a free university education. He interviews like the top people in that field, which is, I guess, a very specific field. It might not interest the average person, but for a coach, especially myself, where I'm looking for science to like help build the case of why I'm teaching a certain way, or that goes a long way because I'm going to grab like a small study that he is reviewing or talking about. I'm like, oh, this study found that, and that makes sense, and that's why this drill worked really well and this one didn't. It's just like finding these connections. So
And I think it's interesting because you mentioned as we were walking in the ability of a coach to get a player to do what the coach wants you to do. It's not. I mean, it's almost like parenting, right? And I'm sure you know that from having a kid. But it's how do you convince somebody with a mind of their own to do exactly what you want them to do? So how do you,
people management, right? More than skill management.
Yeah, it's motivation. It's a whole bunch of things, and it's pressing different buttons with different people.
There's different personality types, and I think that's a good place to start is understanding the different personality types, and then after that, understanding how people understand requests. Because some people, like if you're a rebel, someone asks you to do something, like, no, I'm not going to do it because you asked me to, right?
Right.
So you have to almost give them two choices. The best choice is obviously the one that you want them to do, and they're like, oh, I'll do that because I chose it, right? So it's like one personality type. But
so you've given them a choice to do it.
You make them think you give it.
Yeah. No, but that's interesting.
That's the idea. So that's one way to ask something of a person of that, like how they react to requests. But then you can have someone who is an obliger. You ask them to do it, they're going to do it, right? And that's it. But
the Mike Babcock special. That's what he wants. Yes, sir.
But you need all the personality types, and sometimes you can't pick because this person, maybe they're a really skilled athlete and they're on their team, and you understand, okay, this is how they operate. Mm-hmm. And as a coach, it's your job to get to know them and help. You're helping them. You have to help the person, and you can help them by understanding them. And once you understand how they operate, then you can work with them better. Right, so it's not about manipulating, like tricking them into doing what you want. It's just about understanding the people. The people.
It's a little bit. It's a little bit.
But
it's positive manipulation.
In the short term, like tactics, I think will work. But in the long run, they don't because people figure it out, and then they're against you. You want to have like a cohesive unit. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, this is going to the more elite thing. What I try to do is understand like how this all functions, and then distill it down and make it really easy for like the beginner levels, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm not like at the elite level coaching. I try to keep it all beginner, but I find like finding those things and then bringing them down to the beginner level is kind of like I guess a specialty or what I try to focus on.
You just got back from China. You were coaching hockey in China. Was that beginner level? I saw it was kids, but like it seemed like they knew what they were doing.
I was pretty surprised. And actually, before I get into that, I'm just going to give a quick shout out because you asked about who I thought was up and coming in the system that could be the next I don't know about actual coach, like team coach, head coach, assistant coach. But Adam Nicholas, he's in Boston, Stride Envy. He's at Instagram account. And he's a guy that I also found is like really, really good skills guy. And he's now working with the Blackhawks AHL team. But and
Bridgeport, right? Isn't it Bridgeport?
Oh, I'm so bad at
Rockford.
That sounds more. I was like, anyways, him and Daryl Belfry are working together with the AHL team. So and he's a guy where I follow a lot of coaches on Instagram, looking for things that make sense. I'm like, oh, I understand why he's doing that, versus just I put pylons down and they skate around him, right? And he was one of the guys where I'm like, this guy seems like he's onto something. And I actually went for a weekend and I shot a few YouTube videos with him, and he was like, yeah, come on out. And there were some coaches who were like, no, don't. These are my secrets.
Yeah, government secrets.
Right?
Yeah,
he understands. He's like, you know what? He developed it. It's his thing. Nobody can do it as good as he can, because it's like it's him. It's like his soul. Right? You can't take that from somebody. You can try. You can try to steal drills, but you'll never be like. You have to create your own unique style of teaching.
That's an expert, right? Like someone who's insecure in their knowledge or whatever skill set in coaching is going to be like, no thanks.
And I would understand that there are some things that you should protect, especially once you get to a certain level. Because I think there was something like some tennis player that was training a different way. There's maybe back in the 70s a story that I heard that I can't quite remember. And he was doing something completely different training wise. And some news reporter came and like covered it, and then everybody started training, and he was like above everybody else. And then some news reporter covered it, and everyone started doing that same type of training, and it advanced the game, it changed the game. But then everyone caught up to him, and then he didn't have that advantage anymore. So there probably are some things where you want to have that advantage at the professional level. You don't want other teams being like, oh, let's try that, or understand this is what you're doing, and then be able to counter it. Right. So.
I'm always surprised by that, because having worked a little bit for the Leafs in like media stuff, I was able to just walk in and watch their morning skates if I was waiting to shoot or something like that. And there was reporters there from both sides, and for whatever team's in town that night. And management's up in the section. You could see Lou, you could see Kyle, you could see Brendan. They're all there at morning skate. And I always wondered about how they can do that, how they can plan for something like that, and all those reporters are there. Because you never really hear about closed practices anymore.
They've had closed practices for a while, did they not?
I thought they did, but you don't hear about them much, and I feel like it might be news if they did. Don't you?
Yeah, but when was the last time you ever heard a reporter go, so-and-so is working on a shot and it doesn't look very good? Like, they never
unless there's an injury associated,
Right, they never get into the uber specifics. It's usually just so-and-so is wearing a no-contact jersey. Oh, no.
Right. And the thing about team sports, or even individual sports for that matter, but I think especially team sports, is people can know exactly what you're going to do, but if you practice it so well that you can execute it flawlessly, sometimes you still can't defend about it. You can't defend it. And that's especially...
It's like Connor McDavid. Can't defend it.
Stamkos
in
bomb.
football, most plays are mapped out before just by the formation that a team's lined up on. You know what the other team is running. It's just who's going to execute it better on both offensive and defensive sides.
Yeah, when Aaron Rodgers lines up in a shotgun,
you know what's going to happen. Just who's going to execute.
And that goes back to the elite guys, the guys who do the simple things better than anyone else. And also like don't collapse under pressure.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
China, man.
Back to China.
Sorry.
Welcome to the roller coaster. The zigzag, but we're touching all the points. I don't think we've forgotten anything yet. So,
the Karlsson trade, but we'll get to that.
I'll let you guys go over that
for sure.
China. So I had the opportunity. Basically, my email inbox is like I don't know what's going to pop up in there.
I cannot believe you responded to me, just because. I mean, HowToHockey. You're a sensation.
I think
way bigger than me, making me feel all insecure. Jeez.
I'm blushing. It's weird things come up, and I have to kind of decipher: is this BS or who are these people? So it's like
we get a lot of the BS, by the way.
Yeah, you do.
Getting a significant amount of BS lately too. Like hey, we're so and so site. We'd like to advertise, and we're based out of nowhere in particular.
Yes.
And like
yeah, those ones I can spot. I just delete. I don't even open them. But there's like people, and I'm like, is this person crazy, or is this actually going to happen? Like some people, they just like I've had people that have laid out like in detail plans for something that's going to happen, and like they have it all mapped out, and it's like, is this person like legit, or is it just some crazy guy in his basement? And in that case, I think it ended up being crazy because it never happened. Like, I think it was just a crazy guy in his basement. So anyways, that's the type of thing. So email from China, a company in China. And luckily, I had already done a tour in Asia, 4 countries, Malaysia, Bangkok, or Thailand, I should say. Yeah, Malaysia, Thailand, Hong Kong, and Philippines. So based off of that, I had some contacts in the area. And then someone from China emailed me. I was like, okay, I'm going to forward it to these people. He can kind of like, oh yeah, we know of this organization.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, I got 2 weeks hockey camp in China. So the company is called GoHockey.
I didn't know it was 2 weeks, man.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, which is tough when you got a family.
So you ran the whole hockey camp? Or how did it work?
Yeah, basically, so GoHockey is an organization. They're trying to grow the game in China, which because of the Olympics coming up, 2022, China is making a big push. They're like taking athletes from other sports and like, you're playing hockey now. And wow, legit.
Communism.
Like, they're building rinks like everywhere. I think they have a plan to build about 500 rinks.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
But, I mean, China's a huge country, but 500 rinks.
Would that even make a dent in China? 500 rinks?
It's probably about as many rinks as Nova Scotia has. I don't know.
Right.
I think Canada has about 2,000.
But just to
maybe more.
build them like
Yeah,
that.
it's like they're going up.
It's a different place.
Yes, it is, but holy mackerel.
Yeah,
Sorry,
the
I can't wrap my
scale
head
in
around
China
that.
is just insane.
Yeah.
And I'm actually planning on doing a video just on that aspect of hockey in China.
Please do.
Yeah. So I shot a bunch of footage when I was there. I'm waiting for more stuff that was shot from another company. So there will be a video. Sometimes I say, next week. Sometimes it's actually 2 months later. YouTube life. But yeah, it was amazing. The GoHockey organization, they hired a few coaches because right now in Canada there's a bunch of Canadian coaches. They're basically flying everyone over and be like, train the kids.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was on the ice with a few really good coaches there. Also a translator that could play hockey. So that was nice because I was worried. Okay, I'm going to get on the ice. There's going to be 40 kids and me, and I'm going to try to figure this out. But based off of, hockey, you can teach a lot just by demonstration, blow the whistle, get them to go. Right. Find the kid that's doing it right. Get him to go. The kids see that, right? So it's like there are ways around having to explain things. And I try not to talk too much on the ice and explain things because kids are going to get better if most of the time they're skating and moving. And
They get bored.
yeah, you don't want to. What I found when I first started getting on the ice is if I get out there and I explain 3 things, so they're listening for the first one, they stop listening. So the second one, they're kind of tuning out. The third one, they're not listening. By the time you get to the third one, they forgot the first thing. So then you blow your whistle, right? You blow your whistle and you say go, and they're just lost. You told them 3, right? So I found you got to really.
Is that like parenting? Same thing?
No.
Is it if you're telling a kid 3 different things that they've done wrong in the same lecture, are you wasting your time?
Fair, yeah. I don't know. Parenting's a whole different thing. You get to hug the kid if he does something,
Yeah.
Coaching, it's just like you gotta. It's more like herding cattle, I think, or it's like you got 20 kids, you got to deal with them all at once, and some kid's gonna come up to you and say that his feet hurt, and you got to figure that out as you're mid drill, right? And then another kid is skates are on too tight or too loose, and so if you're the only guy on the ice, it can be a challenge.
It's tough.
Right? So it's like you send him off to get his parents to tie it, or if you have another coach, then you can send him, okay, yeah, he'll tie your skates. But luckily, I had help on the ice. So that was huge. And I think it went really well. The kids were a lot better than I expected. And, I'm going to China. It's like, what is hockey in China? But it doesn't matter where you're born. It doesn't matter what nationality you are. If you get on the ice enough, you're going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like these kids have gotten the ice time, they've gotten the coaching, and they're good. So it's like they could come over and play hockey in Canada, right? Not all of them, but you could take a kid from this team that's 10 years old, and you could come and play on a team and be equal. Or I could say some of them be like AA, maybe a couple AAA kids.
Wow.
Yeah, but
They just don't have the same opportunity, right?
well, yeah. I mean, they're in China, so they have to. They get a lot of skills coaching. There's not a lot of the tactics and the team tactics. That's where they're kind of lacking. So there are teams that come over and they look great in the warm-ups, they look great in the practices, but then they don't have that same chemistry that the Canadians kids have, because the Canadian kids get to just play,
Right.
There's a lot more of that. In China, it's like the parents are like very strict. Like they want to see the kids going hard, and like they don't want to see the coach throw the puck on the ice and let them, scrimmage.
Right.
Which in Canada, I'd say is almost the same thing. Like you're wasting your practice if you're just scrimmaging. But you need to leave some room for like the small area games, or if the Zamboni doesn't come on. Right? Throw the puck down, throw 3 pucks down, and then just let the kids, or like the first 2 minutes of practice or something, if the Zamboni gets off early. Right?
Yeah.
If it's 10 minutes before the practice is supposed to start, let the kids mess around a little. Right?
It's interesting that you say that though, because I feel like the boom could come pretty quick because like isn't that sort of how Austin Matthews came up? I kept hearing was he was just doing skills, and he didn't have the in-game play, but he picked it up pretty quick.
He didn't even like play on a team regularly till he was 15, 16?
That's crazy to me.
Like,
and now
he would
he's
just
like a $10 million player, $11 million player.
Yeah, and the interesting thing too is at least in Ontario, from what I've heard, the Hockey Canada situation, like basically there's a lot of kids playing hockey. It's very expensive. Ice is getting more and more expensive. So what they've done is they're saying, okay, we're going to cut the rinks in half for I think under the age of 10. One thing I don't agree with is them not keeping score anymore. I think you got to at least have some sort of thing to play for. The kids care.
Exactly. It's competition. The kids love it.
So there's a lot of people that for some reason are against keeping score. So they're not doing that beyond a certain age. And I'm with you. I think you got to learn how to lose. I think forget winning. Losing is so big in life. You lose so much more than you win. But when you win, you really win and it feels great. And that's the feeling you go for. And I lost and lost and lost in hockey. I've lost and lost and lost in life. I failed and failed and failed. But I knew how to fail. And I think hockey was one of the big things that kind of taught me how to fail and taught me how to fail on a team too. Yep. And that's the thing is when you fail in a team, you can't turn against each other. You can't do all those things. But anyway, what they're doing right, I got sidetracked there, is they're cutting the rinks in half, which is what Austin played on. He played on half rinks. And so they're putting 10 players on half the rink that they had. And it's going to force them to be just better skilled players because there isn't that blob of kids rolling down the ice the same way there was anymore, right?
Exactly. I like that idea. There's more puck touches. If you lose the puck, the players are closer. You're gonna get into more interactions like battles. There's usually the one kid if it's full ice gets the puck out of the corner, takes a few strides, he's past everybody. Now he's gone. Right? Yeah. There might be one defenseman that can't skate backwards. He's around that guy, no problem. You go wide, okay, breakaway. So like that won't happen as often in that cross ice situation. There are arguments against it that the kids then don't know about offsides and learn how to like use the ice and like breakouts and all that. But it's like when they're kids, they need to learn how to stick. Exactly, they're going to learn it.
Who knows what a breakout is until like you're like 10 or 11 years old anyway? Wow. It's defenseman to forward.
Well, I think that's the other thing is that there's a lot of coaches that they got like their 9-year-olds like we need to work on the breakouts. Our breakouts are terrible. Probably terrible because the kids can't make a pass past 5 feet, and the kids don't know where to be, and also can't skate that well. So there's a whole list of things that need to happen before that breakout happens. They need to learn how to make a simple pass,
right, and how to receive one.
Yeah, how to receive.
It's like what Jesse just said. It's like you can have all the strategy in the world, but there's no execution. They literally don't know the skill. Poor kids, man. Every time we talk about like kids athletics, I'm like grown-ups are not that smart.
Well, it's
what I mean?
We're trying though. Everybody's trying. Like I don't fault the people that are like, hey, don't keep score. I don't fault them for that. I disagree.
Yeah, I disagree. For the biggest thing is that one of the things that a coach will take above anything else is a kid that competes. Yeah. If you see a kid that is half as skilled as another kid, but he gives it his all and he's just going hard, you want that kid on your team. Right? He's going to inspire the other kids, and if you can give him some skill, if you can like help him shore off some weaknesses, he's going to be the best player on the ice. Like give him a few years,
except at the NHL level, where like Phil Kessel, you could say.
Well, and then there's
I'm kidding.
The guys where you chalk it up to genetics, or whatever. But like it could definitely be the difference between. Maybe you play 20 games in the NHL, or maybe you're an ECHL player. There's a lot of tweeners where it's a huge difference. What do you do? What do you do when a kid on the ice just gets fed up? Because kids get fed up, man. What do you do when they shut down?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, most of the stuff I'm doing now because having 2 kids at home and getting random emails to go to China, I found that I was a team coach, volunteer coach in Huntsville, And so I had to miss a few practices because of the YouTube thing, and then I had to miss a few practices and a few games. And then the next season, like, okay, I'm really committed to the team, but like things come up where I'm going to be 2 weeks here and 1 week there, and I'm like, I felt so bad every time I missed, even if I missed a single practice, right? I felt bad. So I haven't been coaching a team for that reason, because my schedule is what it is. It's a bad example, I think, for the kids to be the head coach or even assistant coach.
Very interesting.
And missing games and practices. So I have been doing skill sessions and stuff. And when the kids they call it in, sit on the bench, fine. I'm not going to force that kid to be out there, because then the kids see him not doing the drills properly and dragging his ankles and purposely doing things wrong because he's just in a bad mood, right? For whatever reason, and you don't know what that kid's going through. Maybe something happened at home, right? So I'll say, okay, cool off, go. Some coaches aren't that way. Some coaches will scream and force that kid to do it, and short-term results might work, but I'm in there.
They're gonna hate it.
You don't want the kid, and I was.
Well, why be at power skating at 9:30 on a Friday night when you could be talking to girls on MSN Messenger, hoping they'll message you back? I wonder too. I mean, you said you don't know what's going on at home. How do you manage? And I don't know if you've done a video on this. How do you manage hockey parents with unrealistic expectations for their kids
Be a great
and for
video,
you,
man?
Yeah. I'd say I still have a lot to learn on that. Like,
How's your patience level?
It's got to be good, and you have to just remind them. I'm going to coach. This is what I'm doing, and I'd say there's probably some coaches that have been like coaching for like 20 years, especially AAA. That's where the
Tough.
Yeah, the parents can get really turn on you. But it's just you have to not get. I'd say don't get too emotionally involved in don't really argue with them that much, and just say this is the plan. Like you have to communicate with them. There might be some where you just don't
have a lot to say.
Yeah, it's like, okay, sometimes it's better just not to say anything or to not say as much and just listen. But yeah, I haven't had too many experience with that, because I think I will now that Mason sees 3. He's 3 years old. He's getting into hockey now. Obviously, I plan to coach more as he gets older and be a team coach again. So yeah, I'll get into that. But I'd say the only experience I had that was really negative was coaching and a parent. I think it was Adam team, and a parent came and they were mad because their kid was obviously a good player, and we weren't giving them more ice time than the other kids. And my argument is, okay, well, this is Adam hockey. Every kid paid the same amount to be out here. I want every kid to be able to experience the power play and the penalty kill and know what it's like and give them a chance, right? Because sometimes, like, if you put a kid in a box early, right, he says, well, I'm not a power play player. I can't do penalty kill because my coach, when I was 9 years old, said I couldn't.
And it stays with you for so long.
Exactly. It becomes your inner voice. And you don't know why when you're 15 or 14 that you don't know why you feel that way. It's your inner voice at that point. You just don't believe in yourself. But it's actually because something that a coach said when you were like 8 or 9, and that just became so that I didn't explain it that way. I said, all the kids paid the same amount. We're going to let them all experience it. And basically it was, you're an idiot.
Yeah. Wow.
Right? This isn't like AAA hockey. This is, I guess,
wow.
Single A. So I was like, okay, this is my philosophy. And I think if you're a coach and you have a philosophy, it's easy to stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody disagrees, say, well, this is how I coach. It's my philosophy.
Yeah.
This is what I believe in. And I think that's it. That'll make it a lot easier to deal with parents if you have something to believe in. Because if they come and it's not on par, you know why. You have like a rooted belief in something. So that might be a bit easier. So.
Do you have any aspirations to go? And it would be pretty hard to move away from doing a YouTube channel, because that's you've done so well with it. But what if a junior team comes along and says, "Hey man, we want you to be our assistant coach, but you got to stop doing this"?
It's something that I would love to experience, but I don't think I'm the best guy for it.
Why is that?
Because I think I'd be better at where I'm already at.
Okay.
Maybe if
If Mark Hunter called you tomorrow and said, "Listen, London Knights are looking for an assistant coach, pays pretty well,"
I would love to do it and experience it. And I don't get me wrong, I think I could, because pretty much you can do anything as long as you're dedicated enough. If you're obsessed with something, you can learn it and I have a good background of like I've been obsessed with hockey and development for like since I was a kid, basically. But I put it into YouTube and all that. But I think that I would be taking what I have now, being able to help anyone anywhere, like around the world. Like I got recognized in China by some like 40 or 50-year-old guy.
That's so cool.
I'm in a rink, and there's a CCM hockey shop in a rink there. And I was just like looking at like, oh, what's in here? And the guy looked up and he's like, "Is it you?" like he had just seen like a vision.
Is it you?
Is it you? That's what he
awesome.
said.
That's awesome, man.
So like that for me is more valuable than packing that all in and then doing that where I'm helping like only like 20 kids or So I think it would be a good experience there. If there was a way I could do both, I would consider it. It's something that I'm not against, and we'll see. Maybe 15 years from now, people don't care as much about YouTube and Instagram, and I will be doing that, right? So I'm not opposed to it, and I would love to.
So just make you an offer and back up the money truck, right?
Could stay freelance, man. Like Barb Underhill, I don't think works for a team,
right?
But she's got clients, right?
Yeah,
like she's got a lot of Leafs. She's got a lot of, I think, Lightning as well.
Yeah.
But there's something different between being a skills coach and being on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Being on the bench
totally.
really excites me because of the leadership side of things and getting everybody together and there's so many things that I would love to, like ideas that I have that I'd love to test out and see how they worked and understand more and establish more beliefs about coaching. Right now everything's skills coaching for me, and I guess I am like a freelancer in that sense. Like I do skills sessions whenever I can fit them into my schedule, and or when I get an invite to go to China for a few weeks.
That's so cool, man. It's so cool that you got to do that.
That's amazing.
It certainly is like something where in high school, if I went to the guidance counselor and said, what should I be? This didn't exist.
Right.
YouTube was just starting. Instagram didn't exist. Facebook didn't exist. It's like there was no way that anyone could have been like, oh, you should try this, because it didn't exist. And same with you, right? You created your career.
Well, I was like, I'll try, and a lot of people were like, okay, man, but like it was not an option. It was a whole lot of South Park theoretical dollars. It was.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky, very fortunate.
but-
I never thought I would
What
get to
was-
work at Sportsnet.
What was it you were training to be?
Oh, I was originally going to be a police officer. So I
That's a pretty different career path, man.
Yeah.
I picked police officer because I thought I want to make a difference. I want to help people. And I mean, people don't see police officers that way, but I see that if you're a police officer, not a big a-hole, you could actually help people, right?
Which is the majority of police officers. They're not gigantic a-holes. They're
yes,
good people.
Yes, but the ones you hear about
Are always the worst.
exactly.
Well,
And so
yeah.
I wanted to be the one where it's like not about like you're a bad guy, like kind of like be more like I guess a coach, not like in that like coaching one specific person, but you're in a rough part of your life, maybe on the ride to the police station, you give them a little
Pep talk.
pep
You can
talk.
turn this around, man. So you're a motivational cop.
You offer him a smoke like Dog the Bounty Hunter. You're like, listen, bro,
I mean,
gotta change your life around, bro.
this was 15-year-old me, so now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, maybe
Why
it's-
do we lose those ideals? Why do we lose that sort of hope and passion? Because that's the stuff that drives you to get into where you are.
I think I am there, but not as a police officer.
Right, exactly. And
Right.
you did make a difference, and you
Yeah.
are. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
So, and I guess like looking back, and I read a book about it. I think it was a Navy SEAL, like The Way of the Wolf or something like that. And there was a little quiz inside, where like finding out who you are. And through that, I realized that I love helping people, and I'm a problem solver. I always knew I was a problem solver. But those are two things that I love. And then looking back, I'm like, oh, more of my life makes sense now that I understand that about myself, and what I'm doing makes sense. Like it's just something I like, figuring things out, which is okay. I was an okay hockey player. I want to know why I wasn't better, and then there was so much to figure out, right? And then once I found that discovery, like I was stick handling the wrong way for this long, and no coach ever told me that.
Yeah.
No one ever told me that I was doing it the wrong way. Why, right? And then that led me to like, okay, well, I can help a lot of people if I just, rather than coaching 20 kids in a rink, shoot a YouTube video, throw it online. Now anyone that watches that, they're like, oh, yeah, that is really different if I use my top hand and don't have a death grip with my bottom hand, and get the hands away from the body. All these like small things that if you don't figure them out, you will never figure them out. It's like almost takes someone that has to tell you that if you didn't just figure it out yourself, and some people don't.
What's your favorite type of video to shoot? The ones where you're showing people the basic skills, when you're analyzing a coach or a player? Which one's your favorite?
Yeah, my favorite ones are the training videos. Yeah, I love training videos because even if they're not going to get as many views, I'm like I know that like say like if only gets like 10,000 views, those 10,000 people will probably take a lot away from it.
They're going to care so much about those videos.
Exactly. Like it's going to make a bigger impact. So rather than making like, because I have some videos that I know they're going to, anything entertainment will get more views, right? People like to be entertained. People are like, I'm going to watch that like, video about how to tape a stick again. Speaking of that video, if I look at my stats, beginning of the hockey season, every Saturday,
That's amazing.
and then it comes right down on Monday.
That's exactly what I was saying before the show. The Mariah Carey "All I Want for Christmas Is You." Like the second it's like American Thanksgiving, it goes like that. So that's you got that on a weekly
makes so much
basis.
It's the
sense.
parents showing up to the rink with their stick. I bought all the gear. Okay, go play hockey. Oh, you have to tape a stick. How do I tape
Oh, that's
hockey?
hilarious.
I'm literally envisioning like
Every year it happens,
Yeah.
a new generation.
you see a spike on Saturday, a little bit lower on Sunday, and then Monday goes back down, and then like it goes on for like a few weeks until they've all like figured it out. But yeah, yeah, the training videos are the ones that I like. And sometimes I get surprised. I'm like, this video probably like it's gonna get like 20,000 views, and then it ends up getting like a few 100,000. I didn't know like that. Like I didn't want like not that I didn't want it to, but I didn't expect it to, and I wasn't making it for that reason. But I'm like, nice. Like there was something that I did on like how to profiling your skate blades. I just didn't think there was enough people that wanted to know that much about their skate blades because I never did. But growing up,
The
playing
ones
hockey,
that do,
yeah,
Really want to
type it in. There you are.
yeah,
Yeah.
Only guy who decided, okay, I'm going to do a super niche video.
Yeah.
You wanted to ask about something.
Eric Karlsson?
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to talk about that at some point.
You wanted to talk about what Eric Karlsson the trade or Eric Karlsson
I
the
figure
guy?
it's
or?
the show after the Eric Karlsson trade, so at some point we have to get to it.
I felt
I wasn't interrupting the
We can do it
interview.
next episode.
Or
He's not going to be
next
untraded.
week, people are going to be so mad.
No, you got a 2 this week, didn't you say?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Not quite yet.
Not
He's not
yet.
going to be untraded.
No. Actually, what I did want to
nothing-
ask you, which is more important than the Eric Karlsson trade, do you have the silver YouTube button?
I do.
Oh, you.
Did they send it to you in the mail?
They did. I have
that's
two
really
silver
good.
buttons.
What? Give me one.
Oh yeah, because you got
jealous.
Coach Jeremy.
Yeah.
And then you've got
So I started HowToHockey, which was how to play hockey, and I felt like I had some pretty good coverage on the skills, and then I saw like I was doing more in hockey than just teaching, and I thought it was interesting. Like I was getting opportunities to go with Molson Canadian to a mountaintop rink and like
That's
play,
sick.
and I was like, well, that could be something, and I was like, that was when I still had like the HowToHockey channel. I was like, I'll shoot a video about like how to beat the goalie on top of a mountain. That would be pretty sweet, right? And amazing background. It's pretty windy, so the audio is not the greatest.
right.
But
of course.
then I was like, I should also do a video just being up there and playing. More of a lifestyle video.
Yeah.
Right? So then that's where sort of Coach Jeremy came into play, where there is some coaching. Like I did use coaching videos to kind of like build it up. But now it's like a bit of coaching, but a little bit more like hockey lifestyle and like the different side of hockey.
That's your vlog channel.
Yeah, more like a vlog, anything entertainment. Like I did a video, beer leaguers trying Chara's stick. So I got Zdeno
watched that video.
9 foot tall, 150 flex stick, and I went out to like a beer league pickup. I was like, hey, you guys try this out, right? And the guys are just like looking like, into the clouds. Where does this thing end? They're going out there stick handling, like they're on the dot, and they can like poke check to the boards with it. Yeah, so it's just like fun stuff like that, where it's not really like training. I did one beer leaguers trying smelling salts. Based off of all the NHL guys that like they know what smelling salts is, and they're just like, whoo! Like they're still like getting a kick, right? So I was like, order a box.
Does
of
it
those on Amazon.
work? Does it make you more alert?
Yeah, it's like if you didn't clean your cat box in like a few weeks, like maybe a week.
That's what it
even.
smells like.
It's like pneumonia. It's ammonia, I think.
Ammonia.
Yes, yeah. It's that. It's like that really pungent, like back of your nose, like
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Is there any proof that it does anything?
I think there is, yeah. Well, actually, before I did the video, because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't encouraging kids to do something that would like harm them or anyone for that matter, I did some research because I'm not making this video if it's addictive or if it can damage.
Yeah.
And I'm like, pro guys are doing it and they're showing it on camera, so it should be okay. But basically, it opens the airways a bit. it gives you a bit of a shock, like off the start, and it'll open your capillaries. I think if my grade 10 science is serving me correctly.
Capillaries or whatever. I don't know.
I don't know.
So let's keep the hockey.
We need,
guys.
we need magic school
That's
bus right now.
what they told me about my puffers too. I actually I've had asthma my whole life, and I had to go get my new prescription, which I've not gotten in 10 years. I haven't gotten new. I basically would borrow off my wife. She's also asthmatic, so I just brought her meds. And they explained to me how it actually worked because I didn't even know how my own medications worked. And they're like, if you're playing hockey, what you need to do is you need to take 2 squirts of the blue beforehand. Because when you step onto that ice, it's going to have an effect on your lungs, and your lung capacity will be greater if its half-life is 4 hours. So if you do it an hour before, it'll hit its peak while you're playing and then fall off at the end. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And they use the word capillaries.
Oh, there you go.
And I don't know fully what that is, but
It's like little blood vessels, I think. Don't quote me on this. Maybe, I'm
Something
going
with
to go with my
blood.
Babcock approach and not explain. No. It's like little blood vessels,
it's good.
basically.
Well, it works hard. It's got a lot of heart.
should we do the press conference?
We should.
Yeah, so it opens up the airways. Better oxygen flow intake.
That's
How
what
well it works, I wouldn't, like, you can't get addicted to it from what I read, and you can't,
placebo.
like, do much damage unless you, like, just open, like, a jar of this stuff and, like, only inhale it.
Right.
Like, you can, so, yeah, for the
Gotta
most
keep
part.
it in the packet.
Any
whatever it
men's
is.
league player that's using, I was like, just,
Stop being a Tommy Tryhard,
Men's
please.
League.
Yeah,
Get
stop
out of here,
it.
man.
For the press conference, is essentially the same as a press conference. Only it's our listeners asking you or us questions.
Oh, cool.
So Jesse's just going to throw them at us.
Steve, what are your thoughts on the Eric Karlsson trade?
Oh,
That's from Jesse.
from Adam.
The more I think about it, the more I don't hate it as much as others. They got a decent amount of quantity. There's a couple little things in the deal that could make it turn out really well for them. Balcers actually looks like a pretty good player. Norris could be a decent player. It's just for a top-end player like Karlsson, you got to get a top-end prospect. And I don't understand how, like, San Jose's got like 3, like, real good ones. And Ottawa didn't get any of them. Like, Merkley, to me, seemed like such a slam dunk because he's an offensively minded right-handed defenseman, just drafted in the first round. Don't know why you wouldn't go for him. But if I'm not mistaken, their 2021, there's a possibility they get San Jose's 2021 first rounder.
Mhm.
If Karlsson re-signs and they make the Cup final this year or
Isn't
something
it
like
only
that?
if he signs with a team in the East?
No, I think that's a different pick.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I think there's a possibility of them getting San Jose's 2021 first rounder. Yeah. And if that happens, I mean, San Jose's going to blow the doors off to win the Cup this year. If they get Karlsson back, they're going to blow the doors off to get win the Cup next year. There's a possibility, an injury or two, teams getting older, you just really went for it hard for 2 years. San Jose slips up. Maybe Edmonton finally takes a step. A couple other teams in the Pacific take a step, and they miss the playoffs. All of a sudden, the Sens have a shot at a lottery pick because the Sharks didn't make
So
it.
I can read the conditions for you here.
Sure.
So the 2019 second round pick is the higher of the 2 picks the Sharks currently own. They own the Panthers and their own. Ottawa receives Sharks 2019 first round pick if Sharks do not make the playoffs. If the Sharks make the playoffs, Ottawa receives the 2020 first. And
I
then-
heard it was impossible for them to get the 2019 because they already owe that to the Sabres.
The Sharks do?
Yes.
We'll check.
I don't know. Sorry to interrupt you in the middle of that.
Oh,
but
no, we can check.
I just want to say the amount of hoops, flaming hot, terrifying, tiny hoops that the Senators would have to jump through for that to be a good thing.
but it's there.
Yeah. Oh, Steven.
But it's there.
The whole point is to stack the deck in your favor. And what the Senators seem to not
totally.
be able to do is that. Honestly,
They got
honestly,
a big pile of
what the
meh.
hell are they really doing? Like, what are they really doing? Like, how is it? First off, they told us that they were going to give Eric Karlsson a contract offer, which we knew was going to be something that he could never accept. But they were doing it for PR reasons, and that was pretty naked. We knew that was going to be the case. But in all honesty,
Well, we got
When
a
they-
text today like, why is Pierre Dorian talking again?
he's still talking.
Dude, they
So-
got to sell friggin' tickets.
At his press conference,
why.
he used the rebuild. Did you do that edit, by the way, for Sportsnet, Jesse?
Our team did it.
It was
I didn't
amazing.
do it,
23
yeah.
different times or whatever. But when he talked about it, he said, well, we made the decision back in February that we would have to trade Karlsson. Well, no, you didn't have to trade Karlsson. They could have actually built around him. And if you had just paid him and been a bad team, because that's still possible, you have a goaltender who's 38 years old. You have forwards that are not very good. You overperformed what you ever should have been.
Sens fans should be cheering for Craig Anderson to get traded.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, if he pulls another rabbit out of his hat.
Actually, Avalanche fans should be trading for.
I was about to. Yeah.
Not
you know what?
Sens
Never
fans.
mind. They don't have their own first. They need to be good. Never mind. Hold on.
This is the problem, is that Ottawa did not stack the deck in their favor. They took the 4th round pick this year, or the 4th overall pick this year, instead of knowing that they would be better next year. Knowing that the pick would be better next year, because they are absolutely going to be a worse team. And I understand that Jesse made a good point when he said, well, you bet on yourself. But this is a team that very clearly is stripping it back. So in this particular case, I wouldn't bet on myself. There's nothing to bet on. If you're stripping it back, just strip it back and go, you know what, I'm going to accept my fate here, and it is what it is, and we'll give Colorado the 4th pick this year, and it's going to suck for a year, but at least it won't be hanging over our team, along with a Erik Karlsson trade that really it netted some stuff. But even if, I think Ottawa would have been way better off if they just said, listen, we want one prospect. Can one team give me one prospect, but give me your best damn prospect?
Well, they
Karlsson's pretty good.
They didn't get Ryan Merkley.
But how do you? I don't understand why Ottawa twice in a row now refused to trade with the East.
Like, tell me
It's
this.
so dumb.
Tell me this.
To me.
If Ottawa, if that's the best Ottawa could do, would they not have been better to go to the Leafs and go, can you give us Timothy Liljegren?
Like,
Would
that
they
to
not
me
have been
makes a
better
lot of
off now?
sense. It makes a lot of sense, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was offered, to be honest.
Like, I just, that's the part of it that doesn't make sense to me. They are not stacking the deck in their favor. They are putting themselves behind. And who can, fine, you want to build the team again? The guy you build around is Erik Karlsson, even at this age. Not Matt Duchene, not Mark Stone. It's Erik Karlsson.
But I mean, the Sens, boy.
Like, we have a friend that made a really
to-
good point. The Florida Panthers got more for Eric Goodbranson.
Oh, boy.
Like, it's really,
Just-
like, it's insane. This is insane. And to even suggest that this was a good trade, in my opinion, is a joke. You go to the team and you
It's
go,
not- I'm
okay,
saying it's not as
so
bad as people
I got
say.
7 assets. So I got 7 half-eaten burgers,
No,
or I could have one really delicious
If you
burger.
get 2 first-round picks and those 4 prospects.
But dude, are we
it's not
guaranteed
bad.
those first
No,
two
and there's
first
still
round
some
picks?
ifs.
And also those first round picks, if they become first round picks, it's because San Jose did really, really well. So what place is that pick? 30th or 31st?
Yeah,
So it's a second round pick.
pretty much.
Come on.
Yeah, Ottawa's got a rough go. My only justification I can even think of is they just need good players, and they don't have a ton. And they got like Norris, who might not be a superstar, he'll be a good player.
Sign everybody that needed a PTO this
Bolsters.
offseason. If it was that much of an issue for you, like if you're trading Erik Karlsson and the best you can get is a few middling prospects and a conditional first, go, okay, fine, just give me your best prospect.
I bet
Just give me the one guy.
I bet the Sens sign a bunch of players in the next like 2 weeks or so. A bunch of guys who are just like, and just holding their nose and all right, I'll sign, and maybe I'll
But,
play
like,
in Belleville a
Why
little
is
bit, whatever.
If Cody Franzen, Nick Shore, all these guys that needed or still need contracts.
Franzen's gone.
I know, but
He'd rather play in Russia.
he would be well, fine. He's probably better off. But the point is that I'm sure if you gave him $1 million, he'd have stayed in Ottawa. He'd gone to Ottawa for sure. You think he wants to go all the way to Russia? No. So if you're looking for players to play on your roster,
Tell us about Russia.
Yeah, tell us. Oh,
yeah,
He
if you
might
get
get
paid
paid.
in Russia,
I've heard they pay you in paper bags.
yeah, he might get paid.
I don't know. It's a joke. That trade sucked. It sucked. And yes, that actually beats the Panarin and Forsberg for Saad trade.
Wow.
In how bad it was. But is it worse than the Hoffman trade? And that's a tough one.
Yes, because they got like, how do you get less for the guy you traded earlier in the day? Like that's insane to me. Who's someone on Ottawa whose skill set you think is maybe underrated when you watch him,
Honestly,
or someone you just like watching?
Pierre Dorian. Actually, when he talks about the team.
Honestly, I don't nerd out too much about, there's a few players that I'll follow, but like I spend so much time in the skill development side of things that I don't get involved too much in the contracts and the trades. And, I might say someone who actually got traded like in the summer. Right?
Yeah.
There's what I'm saying is there's no one on Ottawa that excites me right now.
Gotcha. That's the Leaf fan in you, though.
Maybe it's because I just haven't like looked at all their prospects. I'm not studying that type of thing because I'm looking at guys where I can like find something and then he's doing something a little bit differently and then break that down and then decipher it and then
Have you ever looked at Matt Duchene, his skill set? Yeah.
he's good.
Yeah.
He's a great player.
Yeah. Well, and he's one of those like student guys, right?
How many conditional firsts would you trade for Matt Duchene? How many conditional firsts can Ottawa
It'd
get?
have to be unprotected,
Okay.
not lottery protected. Oh my God, that poor team.
Are we talking about like management? Like you guys talk about management because that's something you kind of.
We do hit on that a lot. I mean, it's a lot of our show isn't the X's and O's, right? And we've never been that.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah, but we styled the show that way. That was the point. We found that a lot of what we were hearing was regurgitated sports stats, which is not really the story. The story is the story, and the people involved, and criticizing decisions that people make, and going, yelling at each other over it, and then whatever, and then yelling on the internet about it after, and that's in a fun way. Obviously, you're not screaming at each other.
That's sort of where I get my news: is the people yelling about it on the internet. After. I'm like,
yes.
Oh, this is interesting. What does the internet have to say about
Right,
that?
and
So
that's usually a bad place to be.
it's where all the whispers about management in Ottawa are like, oh well,
boy,
yeah.
yeah. By the way, up in Oro, is it mostly Leaf fans or is it a split between Leafs and Sens?
Yeah, I would say it's probably mostly Leafs fans. We're
Yeah.
close enough to Toronto. I mean,
It is pretty close.
you go to Ottawa and it's half Leafs fans when you get a Leafs versus a Sens game.
Anybody who's over the age of 35 there is a former Leaf fan anyway.
Former.
Or Habs. Former. I mean, they are. Come on, there wasn't a team.
Spoke to a guy on the phone today. The day they traded Karlsson, he announced on Facebook to like all his family. He's a Sens fan. And he goes, yeah, I'm done with the Sens, no longer a Sens fan. And everyone's like, oh yeah, whatever. The next day he posted a picture of him in a brand new, freshly bought Leafs jersey.
Wow. Yeah.
And I was, and
Well,
he's
yeah,
like,
you think he'll stick to it?
Well, and he's like, I know it'll probably take like 3 or 4 years to get accepted by you Leaf fans, right? And I'm like, buddy, we'll greet you with open arms in June at the parade.
Yeah, you're welcome. Jump on the wagon. Let's go.
Jump on, man. Jump on.
Next
Unless we
question.
lose to Karlsson in
That
the
was
final.
the only question.
That was the only question.
I just see so much about management and the owners and the new rink and stuff like that. And I don't know if that has anything to do with the team, but it seems like they're not really trying that hard to put a good team on the ice. Maybe.
And maybe they ought to be trying harder.
Yeah, or
On
at
account of
least
they don't have their own
or at
first
least
round
trying
pick.
harder to put a good team on the ice in 3 seasons, which they're not doing.
The one thing I would say to Sens fans to listen, it's not going to sound encouraging the second it comes out of my mouth, but think about it for a little bit, and it'll age well, like a nice cheese. The Sens couldn't possibly be as bad as people say they're going to be. Every year we're like, this team, I saw someone say Montreal might not score a goal this year. And like we know
Well, that's a bit hyperbole.
Of course it's hyperbole, but it's so rare that a team comes along like the Avalanche of a couple of years ago and not only are they not that good, but everyone gets injured, everything goes against them, and they get 47 points. And even, dude, it's so rare that actually happens.
Well, I know,
it's so rare.
But it's not rare for us to say, "Hey, Vancouver sucks again." They do.
But they still win like 25 games or something like that, and they're bad. But
They have to play the Avalanche 6 times. So
We're talking
of
about
course
them like
they're
they're an East Coast League team. Like,
Made the playoffs last year.
I know it was a joke. It was a joke.
Yeah, but your
Well,
joke
that's-
should also be
Oh,
factually
it should be
correct.
accurate. We need accurate jokes here.
and that's the other thing. Look how
You could have
quickly.
picked so many other teams. Right? Just like
Look
get
how
I
your
went
joke
from a
right.
couple years
recovered,
ago. Yeah,
Look how quickly they recovered.
absolutely.
So I if there was one little bit of encouragement I would give them, there's no way they're going to be
The problem
47
is
points back.
Colorado will not get Ottawa will not get for Matt Duchene what Colorado did.
No.
And Ottawa also doesn't have a Nathan McKinnon to fall back on.
I think I'm of the mindset that they should try to keep Duchene.
They're not trading. Duchene's the next captain of the Ottawa Senators.
No, apparently it's Mark Stone. That's what I keep hearing.
It'll be
Try to keep
Duchene
both of
all
them.
years.
Oh, they'll try.
Try really hard to keep both of them, and if you can't, then you trade them. But you can't. We saw with Buffalo, the stripping it completely, just getting rid of everything. It doesn't work. The Leafs, we say they tore it down, they burnt it to ash. That's not totally true.
They did keep a leadership core in there for sure.
Yeah, they kept some guys. So if Ottawa's going to have any success, they got to keep some guys.
Okay.
The Leafs, they had like a calculated plan, it seems.
Yeah.
So like they made every right move.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's what's happening.
Did nail it.
Yeah, like maybe a little bit of luck, but I think they brought in a really good leadership team. Like, you know, their management, Babcock is the coach. They had a lot of smart people.
Yeah. Well, and in Ottawa, we're kind of seeing like a little trickle down of dumb, to be frank. You know what I mean? Like I got full faith in ownership, Shanahan, and like all the way down. Ottawa, man, like the Melnick out billboards and stuff like that. Like what I don't like about the Sens right now is they're talking about the Melnick out folks, like the guys who got that billboard and funded the billboard, like they're the only fans complaining right now.
Yeah.
Look around at all the empty seats this year. Those are the fans that you need to be paying attention to.
By the way, John Tavares has scored again. He put it past Marcus Hogberg.
Hogberg? I don't know who that is. Is that the goalie prospect they got from Pittsburgh? I thought he was named something different.
I don't know.
Okay.
You're asking me if I know who Marcus Hogberg is?
I don't know, man.
I think Marcus Hogberg's parents know who he is. Yeah. Pierre Dorian might not even know who he is, man. Come on. He's like, oh, we got this guy? It's been a great summer.
Watch, he's going to be sick. He's going to listen to this clip, and that'll be his
Use
motivation.
it for motivation.
There you go.
Put it to some music,
That's how
man.
you do
Let's
it.
hear it.
Yeah,
I want Marcus Hogberg for Vezina.
Buddy,
I'll be front row
isolate this
clapping for him
clip.
going, yes.
Isolate this clip. It's going to happen.
Hoggy.
It's going to have Chris Tierney Hart when he becomes the number one center at the end of the season. Maybe sooner.
Yeah.
Like, Sens fans. How did Peugeot get hurt?
Yeah,
For
well.
6 months.
So this is a good one. So I don't know if you saw this, but Jean-Gabriel Peugeot basically did this. He got the Ericsson Karlsson injury where he cut his Achilles. And so they say 4 to 6 months, but normally that's longer.
I saw another one that said minimum 6.
Has to be.
Dude, so brutal.
Absolutely brutal. Which reminds me, I have to buy Kevlar socks because I am terrified of something like that happening.
Yeah, it's very rare to happen. Like I never saw it, and I played like a lot of hockey growing up, a lot of pond hockey too. And pond hockey, like your skates and stick, and that's it. You don't even wear shin pads or anything. And I never saw an Achilles heel or anything like that slicing. I guess it happens rarely, but there's a chance.
Well, he did it in the gym.
How did he do it?
He wasn't even on the. I don't know. I guess maybe it, like his ankle buckled or something like that, or maybe
it
it was
wasn't
like
a skate slice.
Yeah, like a couple years ago, Derek Stepan broke his leg, like just doing a skating drill, and that's because it was already broken, right? Like it was fractured, and that was just the final. Maybe his Achilles was ready to go. Maybe something happened on the ice. Put a few plates on either side and just ripped it out, man. Brutal. You know what? It's okay to take a step back from your fandom in order to save it, I think. So if Sens fans, you're like, okay, can't even look forward to the first round pick. I know the on-ice product is going to suck this year.
I'm going to take a year off hockey.
Well, you don't have to take a year off, but like maybe watch some other teams, buy a Leafs jersey.
Cheer for a player.
Learn hockey.
There you go, yeah.
Watch some how-to hockey videos.
Or, cheer for Ottawa-born players around the league.
There you go.
That's your new team, Ottawa.
Chris Tierney is a local guy, I think. There you go.
Maybe go out and see some minor hockey games.
Yeah.
It's good AAA hockey.
Go see Belleville. Right?
I think a lot of the former, or the legends, the NHL, or the Ottawa Senators legends, they live in Ottawa and then they just go and coach. There's a lot of ex-Sens guys that are now coaches for like their kids' team and whatever in Ottawa. What I heard.
Go out and hang out with them.
You can go see Alfredson behind the bench.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Hey, thanks so much for coming on, man. Jeremy Rupke from HowToHockey.com, but you've also got you've got 2 channels. You've got your How To,
2 silver button channels,
and then you've got your Coach Jeremy channel. So check them both out. And man, we wish you nothing but success. It's been so much fun having you on.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much for having me on. It was great to sit down and with a bunch of guys who love hockey. Nothing better than that.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.